welcome to the show, Jammers. Another episode of the JNC Live podcast. I'm your host, Brad Brock, and tonight we'll be talking with a Florida entertainer who's been on the scene for ages now and galvanized his legacy during the pandemic lockdowns and continues to regularly produce quality music and content through his various projects. Of course, we're talking about Mr. Ricky Bolufe. There he is. There you go. So don't be mad, but I had to write it down phonetically. But I got it. You guys are going to dive into his story and squeeze a few tunes out of him tonight, as you can see up there, while the Destruction Crew's off tonight. Still joining me here in the legendary JNC Lounge tonight is my North Star, Miss Jordan Taylor. Hello. Yes, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in live with us tonight on YouTube, JNC Radio via the Live 365 radio app, or watching over on Facebook. You're still in that realm. Well, we encourage you to come over to YouTube, but that's up to you entirely. Wherever you're tuning in, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we're watching the chats and comments, so please chime in if there's something that you'd like to talk about. The JNC Lounge line's open at 772-888-1596, so feel free to join the conversation if something moves you. Well, instead of our normal shot or cocktail of the week, we're going to sip on a coffee brand I've been dying to try for our coffee of the week. How about that? Here we go. Espresso. There we are. Oh, where's Ricky? Where is he? Oh, he's gone. He can't hear us, so the crickets are chirping.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so listen, guys. No need to bring Jordan up into this. But so we're sipping on tonight. I've been dying to try this Death Wish coffee. They claim that it's the world's strongest coffee. This is the dark roast and it's ground up. And so we tried it. And cheers. I'm going to sip on it now, or continue to sip on it. And I will say that it is strong. It's strong. Jordan, are you're not sipping on? You're not sipping on this one, are you? You got another one, right?
Yes, no, Brad. I'm sipping on this morning's
this morning's leftovers?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Awesome. Yeah, so Death Wish Coffee touts itself, as I mentioned, being the world's strongest coffee, and it's sourced from the highest quality coffee beans in the world and roasted to deep, never bitter perfection with notes of dark chocolate and black cherry. And it's pretty good. I really like it. It definitely packs a wallop, and it'll probably put hair on your chest. Oop, it already did. So that's how fast it works. All right. That's it. If you want something a little stronger in the morning, get on your Death Wish. There's my little product placement for today. Right. So we're going to dive right into it, you guys. We're going to get into our show. Here with us tonight, you've already seen him. Amazing singer, songwriter, musician, and entertainer. He's performed in several bands around the area and continues performing with his band, The Shake, the duo Like Minds, and his own one-man band looping solo show. And I found the best way to introduce our musician features is to kick off things with a tune. So how about we get a tune from Ricky B?
such a perfect lover that nobody other could even compare. Sometimes you rely on that sometimes to get you through the hard times when nobody's there. When it seemed like you were drowning in the river you dug in, no matter what you do, you're up to your neck in mud. You try and get back to the way that it was. I know it's tough, but enough is enough. It's what you want. It's what you want. You go surround yourself with everything you're not and try to say it's what you want. It's what you want, yeah, it's what you want. You go surround yourself with everything you're not and try to say it's what you want. You're so careless that you could really care less if anyone gets hurt. Driving down the road that is no lightable head, and although I mean see nobody like a dead end, yeah. Sooner or later caught up in a whirlwind again. Is that the plan? No, again and again. It's what you want. It's what you want. You move surround yourself with everything you're not and try to say it's what you want. What you want, yeah, it's what you want. You go surround yourself with everything you're not and try to say it's what you want. Sometimes rain just keeps on falling on your head, but that's alright. Sometimes you feel like you are better off, but that's alright, baby, that's just life. You were driving down the road up ahead, but although that means some nobody like a dead end, yeah. Sooner or later caught up in a whirlwind again. Is that the plan? No, again and again. It's what you want. It's what you want. You go surround yourself with everything on out and try to say it's what you want. What you want, yeah, it's what you want. You go surround yourself with everything you're not and try to say it's what you want.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, we're going to let Ricky come back over here and let Jordan come back. Great job, Jordan. I got to tell you, you got to get a little, don't be afraid to get tightened up on him, man. Get in there. Get right in his face next time. I went Jordan. Normally we have Derek here to operate the mobile cam, and Derek has no qualms about getting up into people's personal space there.
I'm a level 1.
But you did a great, Jordan. This is for you. Good job using the mobile cam. Oh man! All right. Well, Ricky, welcome to the show, man. This has been truly a long time coming.
Yes.
And you're a venerable Renaissance man from performing to songwriting.
It's that Death Wish coffee.
Coffee's kicking in.
It is kicking in.
Your brain is moving faster than your tongue is.
Which is unusual in many cases. But from performing to songwriting to radio to helping save live music during the pandemic lockdowns, I've got so much to talk to you about.
Awesome.
So let's, I guess, get to it.
Okay.
So really, I guess we'll first start with the foundation, as it's probably pretty good to do in these situations. So give us a little insight into when and how you got into playing music in the first place.
When I was in middle school, I started to my whole life. My dad sort of shoved a lot of music down my throat. The Eagles, the Beatles, and it made me hate the Eagles and the Beatles.
Yeah.
So
I don't feel like you're alone in this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but this is the thing. I have a better respect for them now as an adult. But at the time, I was just like, my dad likes this. This sucks. And then in middle school, I found my own music, and that was I was listening to like Slipknot and Cold Chamber and like the heavy stuff.
Right.
I was like, ooh, this is like rebellious and stuff.
Very opposite.
So it's just super opposite. But yeah. So then I started to really sort of appreciate music that wasn't fed to me from my parents. And from middle school to high school, my parents were like, I did not go out. I didn't do, all my friends were losers. So they were like, we need to get him into something that's going to allow him to be a human later on in life, aside from just listening to, Slipknot and his playing with wrestling dolls and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my life could have taken a really, really hard turn if it wasn't for this. So my parents were like, you should do marching band, because I was sort of interested in playing music. And you should do marching band. I was like, marching band's for nerds. I'm not going to do marching band. So I was in marching band all 4 years of high school. And
well, that changed pretty quick.
So marching band was really where it all started for me. If it wasn't for marching band, I wouldn't be the musician I am today. The teachers,
kidding.
I still talk to my old band director, and I still talk to my old drum instructor. He's come out to a couple of shows within the last year or so. He's actually an incredible live vibraphonist.
No kidding, Jordan. Weren't you just somewhere where there was some dude playing the vibraphone? Like, weren't you up in Philadelphia and there was a guy playing the vibes at a lounge or whatever?
Yeah,
cool.
Vibes are really, really cool. He's called. You could be able to follow him on Instagram at It's Not a Xylophone.
Oh my God. And it's so funny because I didn't want to just sound dumb, but I was like, oh, we all at the table thought it was a xylophone.
Yeah. It's literally,
it's like, I don't know if that's the instrument I saw.
His name is Drew Tucker. He is probably one of the most amazing musicians I've ever been around. And he was a really, really great inspiration for me when I first started. But drums was my first instrument. So then from there, I started getting interested in writing. And obviously it's really hard to write music just playing drums
on the drum. Don't say that. Don't say that about Neil Peart.
Well, I mean, yeah, whatever. So I mean, like,
or Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
Or Phil Collins.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, unless I wanted to be a one man bongo band, it wasn't going to work out very well.
I
so
totally get that. Yeah.
So I had to figure out how to be able to do it from there. So I sort of taught myself how to play guitar and bass and everything like that, and then just moved on from there. But it was literally just it was marching band. Marching band was the thing that essentially gave me the the patience to be able to actually continue to play music for the rest of my life. So I'm very thankful for marching band.
Yeah, it's I feel the same way about choir.
Mm-hmm.
I was really into music at all, and then in middle school, you go to when you're going from elementary school to middle school, you get to go there, and they have all the extracurriculars and all those things in the gymnasium setup, and you get to go and you talk to the teachers and the older students and get signed up. And then I was drawn into choir, and then I ended up being in choir all 3 years of middle school and all 3 years of high school before I was like, nah, I'm too smart for this place. I'm getting out of here. But
I was almost the same way, so it's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Marching band was really the only thing that kept me in high school. So
it was choir was not enough, not enough to keep me.
Not choir enough.
But I will. Yeah. That was a good joke. You deserve that.
I don't think it was.
That was what got me disciplined enough to continue and learn and do music, as they say, and then I realized that it was part of me. Like, I had to get it out, and my dad was a musician and all that.
I was gonna say, were your parents musicians?
Yeah, my mom not so much. My dad though, big time, and so I was always around it, and it ended up becoming very natural for me to play and learn instruments and things like that.
Well, you grew up around it, so it's sort of it became just it was like in the water.
Right.
My mom wasn't really like a musician. My mom one time picked up a pair of my drumsticks and played a paradiddle and blew my mind. Because she apparently played snare in like the green machine. I think she's gonna kill me for not getting this correct, but I think it was called the green machine. I don't know. But she apparently played drums at some point in time. She literally picked up a pair of marching sticks and just played a paradiddle, and just put it down and walked away. I'm like, what? So she has
something in the blood there.
Yeah. My mom, she loves to sing and everything like that, and she's like, music has always been a part of her life. She would hang out with my dad had band practice, and she would be at the band practices all the time, listening to the music and everything like that. And she's got great stories from that. But yeah, my dad was an aspiring singer songwriter. Back in the day, he had like a song or two that was on the radio and everything like that, and yeah, so I mean, like it was just sort of was something, and he didn't really do when I was like young, but as I started to get into music, he started to get back into it.
So you kind of flipped the switch back.
Yeah, and it was sort of like at that moment, the two worlds sort of collided. And then, I mean, but as per usual with fathers and sons, I hated him because of it, because he always wanted to be a part of whatever I was doing, and I was like, this is my thing, buzz off, Dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think if you're surrounded in your entire life, it just sort of, it's hard not to, it's hard not to pursue it. But also too, you talk about the discipline, and like if you acquire me marching band, when you're part of that, like you have that camaraderie of musicians, and like that's all you're surrounded with. It's kind of hard not to, you want that part of it always. Sure. And then it's funny that we play solo most of the time. Yeah, exactly. It's like how that turned around.
Well, I'll be honest, man. Soloing for me is really, I got really good at it. And it's,
by the way, I have to say, aside from the music, this whole situation is incredible. Your whole setup in here is absolutely nuts. But I've now had the pleasure of seeing you play a couple times online, but now actually in person too. And you are just incredible. I don't know how you're able to do all of those things the same. Like I do the looping thing. That's one at a time. I'm just basically beep, 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 boop, boop. You're doing it all at the same time. And I'm very jealous of, I'm a drummer. So like multitasking is that's a thing that I do.
Right.
And I watch you and I'm like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
stop.
Yeah, I do envy your ability to be able to do that all at one time. It doesn't make any sense.
And he wants to do more.
Yeah, I know. He was one time we were playing at Blue Point.
Psycho.
And he was like, "Oh, I want to add this and that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I did then. I did add a tom tom to the whole rig.
Yeah, I remember you said you wanted to.
I did.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I don't know. It's.
Well, after a while too, don't you get sort of all right, now I've mastered this. It's time to make this a little more complicated. Is that sort of what's?
It's kind of like that. It's there's always room for improvement, and
always.
And there are times where I feel like sometimes I don't necessarily get complacent because things break and things fly off all the time. So it's always very exciting, and not for the right reasons most of the time. But like some gigs I play, and I never phone it in. It's impossible when you have to flail all your limbs all the time.
Yeah.
But some gigs, I'm
That's
really into it, and other gigs
you do that. You cannot phone it in. I could phone it in totally.
Yeah, I mean,
you cannot.
Yeah, it's
it's impossible to phone it in. How?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no loops. I have no loop pedals
you're doing
or anything.
Everything live. It's nuts.
But yeah, for soloing for me, I love playing in bands. Just in this area, there's no money in it, So, for me as a full-time musician to play and make money, to live and do stuff like this, it just makes more sense. And it's less people for me to have to, it's like corralling cats with musicians, with your band.
All full too well.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of psycho cats in my band, so
we're definitely gonna talk about them too.
Yeah. I had a feeling that would come up.
But yeah, so you actually took me right into the next question, which is in addition to being a singer and guitarist, as we know you, you're a drummer too. So in drumming was clearly your first dive into the music world with marching band and things. Is that still a passion? Do you still play drums? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so I do have I have a duo that I play with my buddy Matt Hilton. We're called the Kindly Crooks. And
another duo?
Another duo. And I play drums and he plays guitar. And it's just the two of us. He mics his guitar amp and he runs the guitar amp through a sub. so that we can be able to get the low end too, and then we just mic up my kick drum, so we have as much low end as possible between the two of us, and we play gigs, and people love it, and it's great because it's just the two of us. It's really simple, we play probably like 3 or 4 times a month, it's a lot of fun. And then also just recently, I over the last maybe, I don't know, about a year and a half, I started doing more recording. And my buddy Dominic Delaney came up to me and he was like, I want you to record my album. And I was like, I am not a record, like I am not an engineer. That's not what I do. But I know how to do the stuff, like I recorded all the Shake stuff. I was like, if you're okay with that garage rock sounding shit, then I'm good. Yeah. He's like, he's like, totally do it. So I produced my first full length album with him. And I played drums on the whole entire thing. So it's still something that I enjoy doing. For me, it's like breathing. Like drumming that's the easiest of them all. Like playing guitar, I am a subpar guitar player. I am a subpar singer. But behind the kit, that's where I feel the most comfortable. I know that is nobody can mess with me in that moment. Right. That's definitely the most comfortable I am. But I try to play drums as much as possible. It's harder with all the gigs that I'm doing and everything like that. But that's why I'm very grateful to have Matt and the Kindly Crooks to be able to play drums. And it's cool is that we play a lot of like the regular like bar band bullshit of like songs and everything like that. Right. But because it's just the two of us, I get to just I just play with a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a bass drum, and that's it. And I just get to wow out on those two and just get to do as much wacky shit. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. We just get to play weird stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's almost like a day off, like playing drums.
God, yeah.
Are you a drummer?
I am not.
See, that makes
this
no
is the
sense
only
to me.
dive into drumming. You know, I can get behind a kit and I understand how it works and I could do it. But honestly, I'm these days more comfortable drumming with my feet than I would be behind a regular drum kit. I feel like I could be a more successful drummer using my feet.
Drummer.
A foot drummer. Yeah. That's exactly right. I don't know.
Brad Brock, successful foot drummer. Put that on your resume.
No kid. I think I need to start like a YouTube or an OnlyFans page for that. I'm sure there's a market.
Oh, OnlyFans, you'll definitely just feet drumming. Oh yeah. That's big money.
Yep, barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot, Bradfoot.
Yeah, maybe you could buy an iPhone.
Oh, where is it?
There it is.
We're
gonna the tally on the screen.
We got a comment on YouTube from Water Monkey. It said the fact that your mom was in a band called The Green Machine is amazing. Laughing. It
wasn't a band, Joe.
LMAO. I guess amazing band names run in the family.
I wish my mom was in a band called Green Machine. Green Machine, I believe, once again, she's gonna kill me for this, was a marching band type of thing. It wasn't like a garage band. My mom was not the drummer in a garage band in Green Machine. Although,
don't let this get out on the street.
Dude, no, honestly, I should have just rolled with that because that's amazing. That's the most amazing thing.
We're making up stories today.
I know.
Folks.
I can't wait. My mom's gonna be so happy about that. Water Monkey. That's Joe. That's the bass player from the Shake.
Nice, yeah. Joe. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for tuning in. He said still a band. LMAO.
Fair. You are right.
Touche.
Well, that's awesome, man. Something that I feel like when I say this was long overdue, I'm talking years overdue. We've been talking about getting together for ages to talk about these types of things, and we could have had several shows over this time, but scheduling is tough. But performing for all of us took a bit of a hiatus. I'm not there yet. Performing took a hiatus for you. When you started working in radio. So tell us how you wound up in radio and about that experience working for a broadcast.
Yeah, it was one of those things where at the time, I don't know what, I was working at Hurricane Grill and Wings, and
Gold Rush. Delicious.
Yes. I worked there for such a long time. I used to be a corporate trainer for Hurricane.
You had to work there quite a bit. At least 6 months.
I used to travel around the U.S. opening up.
No
Hurricanes.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's real deal.
I was a very serious position. I had monthly meetings at the corporate office and everything like that. Yeah. I was on the high ups of Hurricane, which is not something to brag about. But
we'll let you get away with it tonight.
Yeah.
Dominic asks what your favorite menu item from Hurricane Grill was?
Oh my God, I don't even remember anymore. I ate so much of it. So they used to have a churrasco there that was really, really good. I don't know if they have that on the menu anymore. I don't think they do steak anymore. It's probably for the better.
I think I've only ever had boneless wings. Is that?
I mean,
that's not something I think I should
boneless wings
admit.
are good. Boneless wings are good. Their quesadillas. The problem is that they went through so many seasonal menus. I can't believe we're talking about Hurricane. They went through so many seasonal menus of things that they. Oh wait, actually, there's one thing that was on the menu that was really good. It was a chicken salad, and it used to come on. These romaine leaves, and it was so my friend Jules. She was a kitchen manager and she was also a corporate trainer as well. She actually made the recipe and it made it onto the menu.
No kidding.
And it was so
That's
good.
cool.
They gave her 0 credit for him. So fuck them for that. But regardless, that was a really, really good menu item. I don't think they do that anymore because they're not as posh as they used to be. I don't think they ever were posh in the first place. I think that may be the second time I've ever used the word posh. Anyways, what were we talking about?
So you got sick of hurricanes.
Yeah. So I was working at Hurricane at the time, and famed sports radio legend Sid Rosenberg used to come into my Hurricane all the time. And when I started working at Hurricane, I realized that I didn't know anything about sports. I knew nothing about sports. I never watched sports my entire life. But I realized working in a sports bar, you get lost in a lot of conversations unless you start learning.
Right, you got to brush up.
Yeah, so I had to learn. So I had my roommate at the time. I was like, teach me football. So essentially
the broadest sense of the term.
Yeah. So and then 6 months later, I was interning at 640 Sports. And then I was a sports broadcaster. I retained so much information. I was able to just bullshit my way through a sports broadcasting job. And then I got hired and became the morning producer for WRK. Yep. It was a blast. It was one of the times where the only other time in my life where I felt like I had a career that wasn't music.
Right.
I felt like this is what I was going to do for my entire life. And I was really, really attached to the job. I worked way, way too many hours and got paid way, way too little. But it was amazing. And it was like, I got to I can't go to concerts now. Because I used to be VIP at every concert. I would go backstage. I would go right up to the front. I still to this day, if I go to the amphitheater, there's still some security guards that know me, and we get a little bit of and every once in a while they're like, "Oh, you're Ricky Bobby from WRK." I'm like, "Yeah, I was." But yeah, it was a really, really cool time, and it was really I honestly loved the job. But it's radio itself, terrestrial radio, especially for a radio station that makes a lot of money, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to be very emotionally secure in order to be able to do it. And
that makes sense.
I give a lot of credit to the people that have lasted as long as they have. Some of them because they get paid well, and some of them because they just have the stamina to be able to do it. And this is something that they really, really love. And the end of my radio career, I was the morning producer for 850 WFTL, and it was probably the lowest point in my life. I was severely depressed. It was like being around all political radio constantly and having that be a part of my life all the time was horrible. And I don't recommend it for anybody. But I mean, unless you love it, and there's people that do, and the people that have survived in it, and people that are still doing it, and people that I know that I worked with that are still there, and everything like that. But it put me into a really, really deep hole. And then eventually I started drinking more because of it, and I got fired because I was slacking off. I was being mopey because I was fucking depressed. I was just like, it was everything I wanted. Everything I wanted in that job, I felt like I couldn't get anymore because it was just like I was just being surrounded by all this negativity constantly.
There's nothing worse than that.
It really was, man, and it sucks because it's something that I would have done for the rest of my life if I did not. I wish I would have realized. I got sober, a little over 2 years ago. I wish I would have done it then because I probably would have had a better grasp on what was going on and be able to compartmentalize that job a little bit better. But I couldn't at the time. So so eventually I got fired, and it was horrible. And after that, I actually went back to Hurricane for a little while.
Hey man, there's no shame in that. I always say, if you could sling drinks or sling burgers, you'll never starve.
Yeah.
Like you can always go and make money. It's a great skill. Those of you out there that have never worked in a restaurant or look down on people that work in restaurants, you're missing out because everybody's expendable at their jobs.
Yeah.
But listen, there's a billion restaurants that are always looking for people. You can go and make money. It's a skill everybody should have, And I think it's a social thing that everybody should have to go through, to learn how to deal with people. So no shame in going back to Hurricane at all. Like I've gone back to the Big D. We call it the Big D. The pseudo-Irish sports bar. Anyway.
Okay.
Duff.
You ruined it, Jordan.
I context clues. I sort of figured it out.
See there. Extrapolating.
What is it? The big? It's just funny you said we call it the Big D, and she goes, "I don't think we do."
I don't think we call it that. Ever.
No, I just made it up just now.
It showed.
What is it? Yeah, so I went back to Hurricane for a little while, and at that time is sort of where I started. When I was in the radio station, I started playing drums again. I was playing this band called Brass Knucklehead, and we were a ska band. We would take popular songs and we would make them into ska songs.
Nice.
So I started playing. That was the first time that I had ever played like bar gigs. I'd never done that my entire life. I'd always been like, I'm an original artist. I only write original songs. And I never made any money whatsoever. And now I wonder why. But once I started doing it, I was like, man, I really wish I was doing this for a lot longer.
Right.
Like this sucks. Like I waited too long to do this. But then after I left radio and everything like that, maybe like a year later, the pandemic hit. And then that was when everything sort of changed.
Yeah, but what a kibosh on everything.
It changed everything. That band ended because my guitar player at the time, his son was he had an autoimmune system problem. My lead singer also did too, so we couldn't do the band no matter what. We've never gotten back together since then. It ended the group. But just before the pandemic is when I bought my loop station.
I was just gonna, man, we're doing this the right way. You're rolling right into my questions. I love this. I was just gonna say you've been a member of several bands, more than I even knew about going into this conversation.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So yeah,
this is just since radio. Like I mean,
Right.
prior to that, I've been in tons and tons.
Sure.
I've been kicked out of so many damn bands. I can't even count them anymore. I've always been. It's so funny because like now, the way that I think people look at me in the community now is so different than it ever was before. Like, but first of all, I mean the community's never been as good as it has been now.
it's so great now.
It's incredible, and
Yeah.
I can't believe like I'm so happy to be in this community of musicians. It's unbelievable, and I've never felt so validated. I never felt so accepted. It's just been incredible. And but prior to that, I was always the cancer of every band. I was the guy that was too hard on everybody. Because I always my thing was I'm here to make it. That's
Sure.
what I want to do. And if you're not, then why are you here?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But a lot of people,
weekend warriors out there,
and I never understood that there was a difference between somebody who wanted to do it for fun and wanted to do it seriously. I could never make. They were always, you either did it seriously or you didn't do it, or you do it on your own time and not on my time. Don't waste my time.
Right.
So I would always be the one to getting kicked out because I was too negative and all that stuff like that. And then now, I mean, like, I hope that people look at me differently than that. But I think that I have a better understanding of now that I do the solo stuff and I'm able to pay my bills doing that, and it's nice. But yes, the loop station was bought just before the pandemic because I didn't know when the next time I was going to play with the band.
Right. So what got you? What made you decide to go with the loop station instead of just being a troubadour with a guitar over your back and doing that whole thing?
So the troubadour life was never something that I ever wanted to be. I never could be a guy playing a guitar. It was just because I've always just been a drummer, a multitasker, a band guy. I've always played with people, and like playing just like do was just like it just wasn't. I could never see myself doing it. Plus another thing too, with the loop station, I can take 15 songs and make them last for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a totally different situation. I didn't have to learn. That was one of the things too, because I was like, if I'm going to do these solo shows, I'm going to have to learn so much music. And then I was like, maybe I'll just get a loop station and I only have to learn half of them. and that still worked. that has been the greatest thing, is that, like, because every song that's 3 minutes is now 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or if it's 5 minutes, now it's 8 minutes. Or if I want it to be, it can be 15 minutes. It doesn't make any difference, because I have like this, essentially this full band behind me that I'm creating. But I never wanted to do the just playing a guitar thing. It never was something that was interesting to me.
You're not missing anything, because I did it for so many years, doing the cruise ship thing. That when I quit cruise ships, I quit music for a year. I went and worked at the Big D, as we like to call it here.
Yeah, now we like to call it that,
immediately.
As of today, we like to call it.
We like to call it the Big D. So yeah, so when I decided that the Big D was too much for me to handle.
Having coffee, Brad. Oh my God.
I just yes that like it was no big deal. I was like,
no big deal.
yes. When the Big D was too hard to handle,
too hard to handle.
Check.
Been there.
That's a rough time. Yeah, you got to get out.
Gotta get out. But no, like,
Wow.
I got back into music, but I told myself I was never just gonna sit and play guitar again. And so the beginning of the one man band thing, set up, and I'd seen other people playing with a cajon around town and a tambourine and all these things. So I just started putting it all together. And now, of course, it's out of control.
Now it's madness.
It's
well,
madness.
yeah, I've never seen I've seen people do like the tambourine on the foot and shit, but you took it to a whole new level.
It's there's other guys that do similar shows, perhaps better. But I've never seen anybody with a rig as similar to mine.
No.
It's very, I'm very proud of it, but
you should be. I mean, it's honestly like it produces a really great, like it's, if you close your eyes, it's really hard to tell that it's just you.
Well, the show's better if you close your eyes anyway, really. I mean, let's be honest here. But you're rigged. So, there's really massive stars out there that do looping. The first one that comes to mind is Ed Sheeran.
Which a lot of people don't even know is a loop artist.
Right? He did an entire tour.
He did. All of his tours up until recently.
Yeah.
This last tour was the first tour he's ever done with the full band.
And he broke records for the highest grossing tour just by himself with a loop pedal.
Insanity.
And doing shows. Really, really incredible. So with that in mind, your rig is clearly a little different than his. But so what was your inspiration? Was there an artist that inspired you to get into looping as part of your solo show?
Yeah, it was a guy. He is based out of I forget, but he's not from. Oh, he's based out of Australia, and his name
Good day, mate.
His name is DubFX.
Oh, DubFX. Okay.
And DubFX, I watched his videos probably 10 years ago, and I was obsessed with because he was a beatboxer.
Right.
And he, at the time, he had the RC 303, the foot pedal one.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this multi-effects bass pedal, and then his RC 303. And he would run the mic through there and then into the loop pedal. And he would do these, he would create these incredible songs and sing these harmonies with all this stuff and the bass parts. And he did a video where he explained how he did it. And I've just always been so mesmerized by it. And so when I saw a video just before the pandemic hit, and he was using the RC 505, which is the loop station that I use.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's built specifically for beatboxers.
Right.
And I was like, this is incredible. I need to get this because I'm going to be a beatboxer.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah. So that lasted for about maybe 2 or 3 days. And I was like, my pitch is not good enough to be able to do this because with that, the original intent was that I was going to beatbox, and then there's a guitar to bass feature on there. So I was going to lay down the bass line, and then I was going to put these harmonies on top of it. But you have to have really good pitch to be able to hold it all together. I do not. So I was like, this is a disaster. So then I was like, oh, well, I can plug my guitar into this. Perfect. So then I started doing that. And then my original setup was I had my computer with a keyboard and then a guitar. And it was this, I had a drum and a cymbal. I was trying to make it as complicated as yours was.
Yes. I was going to say.
And as you can tell now, none of that stuff has made it over here. It's literally just the loop station. If the loop station had more controls on it for where I can be able to switch my voice. I wouldn't even have the mixer. I literally run everything through the loop station.
Sure.
And I sort of just went bare bones with it. But I started doing it, and I got my first gig playing at a hotel in West Palm. And somebody hit me up, and they were like, "Can you do a solo gig this date?" It was like 5 days from the time that I got the call. And I'm like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, why not?
So I just literally rolled up with all of my stuff and everything like that. And I practiced a couple songs and I went through it and I managed to, I got through it. And they were like, wow, we love you. We love you back. I'm like, oh, wow, this could actually work. And then I went full force into trying to figure out how to be able to use it as a means to be able to make money. And now it's my main source of income. It's
incredible how like things pan out that way.
I literally every single time I take it out and put it back into my case, I give it a little kiss.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for paying my rent.
Seriously.
Because it's the best purchase I ever made. I'm thankful every day that I decided to do that. And it's paid for itself 14,000 times over by now.
It's crazy. Yeah. I feel the same way about my rig. I curse it, but like I always am thankful that it exists and that it's something a little bit different than everybody else is doing. You know,
well, because because it's different, you can always find work.
Right.
Right.
And it's distinctive. Yeah.
That's sort of the thing with this is that like there are loopers out there, but the way that I do it is a tiny bit different than everybody. It's enough different where I've had multiple not management, but like promoters or like that. Like, we don't really do loopers, but we'll make an exception for you. And then I'll get back to like, wow, they really liked you. I'm like, okay. I mean, because it's like, it's not the same. It's a little bit different. And I mean,
everything gets like tied up in the stigma, it's the same,
It's because for a while having to explain to people what the hell I was doing was really, really tough. There was a good year where I was just like, I'm trying to explain to someone that I eventually had to be like, I'm a one-man band. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
But then you popped up and I'm like, well, I'm not really a one-man.
It's still true.
But what I'm saying, but I felt bad for saying it because you are like actually a one-man band, like bass drum on his back, cymbals between his knees, bouncing around the town. That's an actual one-man band.
on my end of it, we have to explain, or I particularly have to explain to people that I'm not a loop artist or using backing tracks, because there's people out there that claim to be a one-man band, but they're playing tracks off their laptop and playing guitar and hitting a cymbal or something. And there's nothing against that. Hey,
100% no shame in it.
If that's what you do and that's your thing, I don't care.
That's how you pay the rent. That's how you pay the rent,
man. My goal was to not use anything like that. So, like to explain to people like, nope, everything you hear is completely mechanical. And I totally get it. And just to mention, watching you use the loop pedal, or it's not even a pedal. It looks like a keyboard up there. You play it like an instrument. It's really fascinating to watch.
Thank you.
You guys, if you guys are watching, next time he plays live up here, just watch how he uses. Yeah. Jordan will
get a little
closer.
Get a little closer to the action.
You're gonna get like, oh, a little close. Too close.
Back up.
We got a couple of questions from the peanut gallery out there. Tio Ricky said, from a person whose name is Ricky, do people assume it's a nickname for you or for your real name? And if so, what names? He said, I'm Spanish, and people think Ricky is short for Richard or Ricardo.
Yeah. I mean, people always think like when I'm playing a gig and they're like, who do you make a check out to? Richard? I'm like, no, it's just Ricky. It's Ricky on my birth certificate. That's the way it is.
It's awesome.
But it's I believe originally my sister told me that I was named Ricky after Ricky Ricardo. And I was really stoked because I loved I Love Lucy when I was a kid. I was like, this is amazing. And then I said it in front of my mom one time. My mom's like, that's not true. Apparently, it's derived from my dad's middle name, which is Rigoberto.
Interesting. That's an interesting name.
Yeah. So my dad was born in Cuba.
Oh.
Yeah. So his name is Jorge, but his middle name is Rigoberto. Which I'm saying like such a white guy, but I am, whatever, it is what it is. I'm the least Spanish Cuban ever. I'm Cuban and Irish, so I'm just
what a mix.
Well, yeah, so half of me wants a drink, the other half doesn't want to pay for it.
On a roll tonight.
Damn, man.
Yeah, that's good.
It's been so long since I've said that joke. I literally have that in my back pocket all the time.
So that's a good introduction.
Yeah. I do have to say, at the expense of sounding creepy. We had a conversation earlier today where I was kind of like, we were talking about how to pronounce your last name.
Oh, yeah.
And Bolufe, by the way.
Bolufe, very nice.
And we were, I kind of asked you where it was from, but I was also like looking myself and realized that it's a huge Cuban name.
Yeah.
In Cuba, there are so many Bolufes that it's
probably
outrageous.
family. I have no clue.
Yeah. So the fact that you brought up that you are of Cuban descent, it really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's such a great name.
I honestly didn't even know that. So, I mean, like I knew I was Cuban. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a lot of
There's a
in
lot.
Cuba. Wow.
Learning
Wow.
I know there's some down in Miami.
inebriating and educating here on JNC. That's what we do best here. That's awesome, man. One other question that we got was when you started looping, did you use a full-size acoustic or did you immediately go with the 3/4 size?
Full size originally because that was the only one I had.
Makes sense.
And then as I started gigging more, because originally because I used to use my keyboard and like a laptop, that keyboard stand I would put down and I would put my full-size acoustic case on top of it, and then I would just essentially just line everything up on my acoustic case.
Dual purpose?
Yeah. So it worked out, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's so smart." And I was like, I just don't have a way of doing this. This is the only way I could think of. Ingenuity. So I would do that, and it was cool in the beginning. But then once I stopped using it, and I started putting the 505 on the actual, because originally I had rigged up this cymbal stand that had a snare stand on top of it, and then it would just like the 505 would sort of sit towards me. But then there was one show where I hit it and the thing let go and it just dropped, and I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore.
That's a nightmare.
So when I switched it over, I had this full-size acoustic, and it was just like a real bitch to just carry around. And so then I saw this 3/4, and I was like, this is beautiful. There's a guy who I've ripped off many of my covers from, and he's also from Australia. Holy shit, I just realized this.
You're living on the wrong continent, really. That's what's going on here.
Well, no, this dude actually moved to Nashville, and I actually saw him in Nashville when me and my wife went earlier this year. And his name is Carl Wachner, and he is an incredible live looper. He doesn't use the 505. He uses the head rush one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. A lot of people use it. A lot of people use it.
I almost switched to the feet thing, and I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I even bought the upgraded version of the 505 and I returned it because I was like, I just like what I like.
Yeah. It's hard when you're used to something, you know.
Exactly. Especially the Big D. Was it so? So I this guy Carl, I saw he was playing this 3/4 acoustic, and I was always like enamored with how small his acoustic was, and I was like, man, I should just try and find that. So I found the one that I have, that Yamaha. And it was like $130, $140 in Sam Ash. And I was like, Sam Ash, Guitar Center. Never Sam Ash, Guitar Center.
I don't even is Sam Ash even still around?
So when we were on tour, we were actually in New York City, and there's one in New York City.
No kidding.
Yeah, like
probably the only
right
one
across
left.
the street from the Empire State Building.
Unreal.
I was like, Sam Ash. I didn't know these people still exist. I know there's one that's down south somewhere, but I don't think there's any around here. Yeah, there's one down
barely in a Guitar Center around here. Sorry, Guitar Center.
Yeah, the closest one to here is probably the one in West Palm.
No, we have one in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, when it has anything in stock.
I forget that we're basically in Georgia where we are right
Georgia,
now.
yes.
Yeah, it's so far away from. I'm gonna have to Google how to be able to get back home after this.
There you go.
But
Hope
yeah,
you filled up your tank.
Cheaper to fly, really.
It might be. So I saw he had the small acoustic, and I was like, oh, I should do this. And as soon as I got the 3/4, I was like, I'm never going back, because now I can be able to just like swing it behind me, no big deal. It sits on top, because having that big fucking acoustic on me all the time, and I'm hitting buttons and trying to do, because at the time I was using the keyboard, so I was like trying to use the keyboard, trying to fight around this damn acoustic it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that I went to the 3/4. I will never go back.
Good. I play a Taylor Big Baby when I play acoustic. I don't even play acoustic anymore.
But it's. I wish it was. Electric, but it's not. It's not acoustic electric.
Yeah, I had some installed on it. It sounds okay, but like I don't know.
Without the pickup, like just by itself, the Big Baby is a beautiful sounding.
It really is. That's what sold me on it. But even with the installed electronics, I just was like, nah. This is not a great live guitar. But
well, for what you do, I think acoustic. You'd have to use the sound hole cover for yours.
Yeah, I did it. I switched to electric guitar about a year ago, and never ever looked back.
I mean, I think it works better for what you're doing, the electric.
Maybe even more than a year ago, a few years ago.
I honestly don't remember ever seeing you play with the acoustic. I only remember you playing with the.
Good. I hope nobody remembers it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I the only time that I've ever seen you, I think it's been with the electric. But the acoustic is nice. The acoustic's nice for me because I play like I beatbox the drums, but then I reinforce the kick and the snare with the actual
some percussive.
Yeah, so like
moves.
when you like bang on the guitar, it gives that sound. So like an electric guitar, I can't do that.
No.
I tried, like I played one show with an electric and it was a disaster. I was just like, just get through these 3 hours, please. Because I didn't bring my acoustic for some reason. I was an idiot. I don't know why I did that, but
I always, I have an acoustic simulator that I have on board at all times. And 'cause sometimes I find myself at a gig where like, they should not have hired me. I'm too much of a presence.
Yeah.
So I just kick on that emulator and I'll sit there and play James Taylor tunes until they told me to go home.
I've done that. I've done that many times where I play this country club gig where the last time this lady came up to me is incredible. This lady comes up to me before it even starts, before I even play a note. This lady comes up to me and she goes, I took a poll and the people here only want to hear American standards. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, da-da-da. Nobody understands your music. I saw you play here last week. Meanwhile, this is like the third time I'd play there. I probably played there 2 months prior to that. So it's like, I saw you play here last week. Nobody understands your music. I'm like, okay, all right. So I literally just like played some chords and just doodled for a little while and just soloed on top of it. Just whatever.
This is an obscure 1962 hit from Dean Martin.
Very, very bizarre. So then as the show goes on, I played Fly Me to the Moon. I was on a break. I learned how to play it. And I start playing this song and I look over and the lady is
out.
Oh,
done.
Asleep on the couch. And I'm like, all right, well this is good.
The audacity.
Yeah. So she bitched at me about not it's funny. I get booked because people think I'm just a guy with an acoustic guitar.
Right.
So people book me and I'm like, it's a little bit more aggressive than that. Not super aggressive, but the great part about me is total volume control. If they want me to be basically non-existent, I can be non-existent because it's just the volume.
Yeah, I get out of it by telling the various agents that book around town. I just say I need an 8x8 space. If they can't provide that for me, then I can't play. Like, and it eliminates a lot of gigs for me. But like, I'm never gonna go back to just being an acoustic guitar guy. Yeah. I made that promise to myself, and if I'm gonna keep a promise to anybody, it should be to me. You know what I mean? So
we try now, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Speaking of acoustic music, which we got a lot of during the lockdowns, and this is actually when you and I first connected.
Yeah.
You put together a really incredibly impressive internet music festival, and it was appropriately named the Social Distance Festival.
Yeah.
And many people during this time were live streaming their performances. A lot of acoustic players were able to do this. Even bands were pulling it together somehow. It was, they shouldn't have been, but maybe they all lived together. You never know. But
I wasn't judging if they were trying to make some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But the page that you came up with and the whole festival itself really garnered thousands of followers. It was a huge success. So
it was not something that I was thinking was going to be a success, I'll be honest.
I mean, and you and I we chatted because I saw it through a friend of mine, Jeff Farshedian.
Oh yeah, I think he was one of the first
He was one
ones.
of the very first because I saw it and I was like, this is cool. And I watched it and I was like, this is such a great concept. And so I asked him, I was like, who's involved in this? And he sent me your info and we connected. I don't know if you messaged me or I don't know how it worked out, but we connected.
It was like a billion light years ago. I don't remember.
It was so
and it was
long
during
ago.
lockdown, so I was drinking heavily during all of that.
You and me and her and everyone.
It was
regardless.
very hazy.
The dark times.
The dark times.
Literally.
Stone Ages.
So tell us about putting that together. And you even had a very special celebrity guest on there too.
I had a couple of people that I was like really excited that that came on. I was what were we doing? Me and my wife, we were driving home from somewhere, and I just had the idea in the car, and I was like, it would be really cool to do a live. Like I've seen people doing live streams, and I was like, it'd be cool to do like a festival like that. And it was just as simple as that. And then I went home and I created the Social Distance Festival of Facebook, and I just hit up a couple of my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing on Saturday. And literally the one thing that was different was a lot of people, like there were some other festivals and some other things that were going on around that time too. And they were doing it where somebody had to be like, somebody was like running like OBS like you are.
Right.
And you would like Zoom in or, whatever, Skype in. I don't think Zoom was even a thing at the time.
It was about to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. And you like Skyped in or whatever like that. And then you like put this on this page. But at the time because I didn't want to have to worry about all that shit, I literally just made everybody that was on there an admin.
Right.
So you could just log in on your own. You don't have to worry about anything.
A lot of trust. There's a lot of trust in that. And
I honestly didn't.
I mean, it seems like everybody was very conscious and very courteous about it.
I had no issues whatsoever.
That's amazing.
And this lasted for, man, I want to say it was like 3 months or something like that. 3 or 4 months, I think we were doing it. It was insane. It was literally like I had 5 artists like the first Saturday, and it just popped off immediately. So I was like, maybe I'll do a Sunday. So some people that did it on Saturday actually did it on Sunday again because I didn't really know any of the people. And then I was like, hey, do you have friends that want to do this? So then we wound up doing Sunday, and then Sunday was like twice as much. I'm like, oh, okay, something's happening here. So then I was like, all right, what I'm gonna do is immediately I went into marketing mode. I'm like, all right, okay, how do we make this the most successful thing ever? We have the festival on the weekends, and then we have like spotlight things on the weekdays. And I think you did one of the spotlight.
I did.
Ones. So we had like one artist that really stood out to me. I'm like, hey, do you want to do like a solo half hour on like Monday? And then we'll do another one on Wednesday, and then we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was just like this snowball effect. And then all of a sudden, all these people started messaging me. And they were like, hey, we want to be on the Social Distance Festival. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. Like, this is now consuming so much of my time. And I wasn't mad about it because I was bored as shit.
Right.
So, like, I was like, this is perfect. And then, like, I had, like, was it WPTV reached out to me? CBS 12 reached out to me. I was like, what is going on right now? This is, like, so bizarre. I was, like, on the news because of this stupid Facebook thing I was doing. And then I was like, let's try and get somebody, like, let's get like a decent person on here. So I reached out to Howie Spangler from Ballyhoo, and he did one of the bigger features, and he went on there and he did like an hour, and there was like, I want to say like 14,000 people watching him, and I was like, what is
so crazy?
It was so crazy. And then I started reaching out to people out that it was only our community, and then once I reached out to Howie, I was like, why don't we just start reaching out to everywhere? So we started doing we did a whole weekend of people from California because they had it way worse than we did.
Right.
I was shopping at Publix while I was booking these people at on the Social Distance Festival. So I had a whole weekend of California bands. We had bands from everywhere. And then I reached out just on a whim to Josh Radnor from How I Met Your Mother fame. And I got his email. Oh no, I messaged him on Instagram and he responded. And I was like, I just remember being there with my wife. I'm like, I'm talking to Josh Radnor. Like, How I Met Your Mother is like a really, like, me and my wife love How I Met Your Mother. We were obsessed with it. And I think we found it during the pandemic too. So it's like even better on top of it. So I'm like, I'm literally going back and forth on Instagram with Josh Radnor right now. And he agreed to do the festival. And he played a couple of songs and everything like that. And I still have the clip on my phone. Actually, I think I have it on my computer. Of him like saying like, I want to thank Ricky for having me. I'm like, holy shit, this is so great.
So awesome, man.
I remember vividly, it was like a football Sunday or something like that when this was going on. And I was at my friend's house. We were watching football. And I was plastered when it was happening. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is the most amazing day of my life. Josh Radnor is on my festival. It was crazy. And so it wound up going for a while. And then obviously when everything started to open up, it petered out. But I think sitting right now, the Facebook page, I've since changed the name of the Facebook page because I've been trying to figure out something else to do with it. But I think the Facebook page within the 2 or 3 month period is like 10 to 14,000 followers or something like that. It was insane. It was
That's
just
crazy.
like, it came out of nowhere. And we also used it at the time. Propaganda in Lake Worth was having a really hard time. So we did a play for prop. And that's how I met Dominic. Dominic Delaney.
He's tuning in.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Dominic.
He was the one that asked you about the little guitar.
That's right. He's the one that asked?
Yeah.
He's always... Why? Why does he care? He knows the answers to this. That's why this dude is such a player. Like he knows exactly the questions to ask to be able to get the right content.
Perfect.
Was it but yeah, and I mean like Dominic's one of my best friends, and I met him through the Social Distance Festival, and he played there, and then we did the play for prop, and I think we raised like a couple $1,000s for prop that day.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was really cool, and I never played it. I never played once.
No kidding. The whole time?
Never did it.
Wow.
What a racket.
It was so weird, man. I don't know why. I just never, I was like, and everyone's like, are you going to play? I'm like, maybe. I never did. Actually, I think I may have done play for prop. I think I did that one. But as far as the actual Social Distance Festival, I never played it. But I mean, I know some people. I met so many people because of it. Obviously, I met you. But I mean, like, I became so adverse with the community at that point in time, just because of everybody reaching out to me or people recommending other people came. And but I mean, there were some stories that I heard that people made a lot of money. People were like, they're like, this was like one of the better paying gigs that I've had in a year. And I was like, cool.
Crazy.
Now you're not an admin anymore. Get out of here. You know what I mean? It's time for the next crop. Yeah. It was fun. It was definitely interesting, and it started my love for this community, because I never really was a big part of the music community. Like I played around and I knew some people, but that was like when I really like became really entrenched into this community that I do love so much now. So
well, I'm gonna tell you, man, like I mentioned earlier, like that galvanized your presence here. Mm-hmm. You know, of course it went nationwide, worldwide perhaps. Mm-hmm. But it started here, you know, and I think that's so cool. And I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to meet you through that, as you did for so many other musicians.
Mm-hmm. And that was around the early time that you had started this too, right?
Yeah, literally. Like we had been doing it. I had been live streaming for probably 6 months at that point. It was just kind of like sitting in my room playing guitar and singing songs. And it just sort of started fleshing out what Jams and Cocktails would be. It's completely different now. You know, so in fact, I think I need to start another show to kind of get back to basics, just to bring those elements back in. But here we are. It took on a life of its own, and this is where it's led us.
You're a full-fledged morning show now.
It's with the shenanigans and everything.
Yeah, with everything. It's incredible. But I remember in the beginning, it was just like you would have an artist in here. You would jam with them, obviously.
Yep.
They would play some songs. You would bullshit. You would drink, and then everything. And I was like, "This is really cool." And I remember in the very beginning being like blown away by the production quality of this thing. I was like, "This is crazy!" Like this dude, it's like literally just made this whole radio station in his.
It's come so. I mean, you know, I don't want to. It's come so far. It's really it's been a passion project, and
there's
really
not many
with
communities that have this too. So I mean, like you know. I think that people don't understand what, like, between you and the 561 Music Podcast. Like these are two shows that are local, that are featuring local people, that are bolstering our community, that means so much. And I say this to Ben and Hector all the time. I was like, you don't understand the impact that you've made on this community. And I think it's the same thing with you. I think don't think you understand the full impact that it has made on the community, and to be able to feature these local artists and get them this platform, and especially with all of this, like, I mean, like, to sound good and look good. There's so many people that be like, I have a radio show, and it's like on my iPhone. Sorry.
Well, that's the problem. It's on the iPhone.
Okay. He's dishing it back now.
Don't worry, it'll come back around for you.
No, you know, I mean, I when Ben and Hector started their show, it took ages for us to connect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've obviously followed the Killbillies forever, and but it took us so long to connect, and I was like, we got to figure this out, because, you know, we run such parallel shows. And then Ben and I realized that we have so many parallels in our lives.
Oh yeah, you guys played all like the same places.
Yeah, you know, and just how we've grown as humans.
Mm-hmm.
It was really an interesting parallel. And it really kind of gave me the outcome because I knew that this show was kind of moving in a different direction. And they kind of picked up where we were moving away from. So it really worked out, whereas they are really a bare bones interview show. So basically what we're doing right now, they do it for all their shows, and it's so informative and it really gets in depth.
It's incredible. I've learned so much about everybody because of it. I feel like it's like
I prepped for this show using their show. But really,
don't tell them that. You're gonna have to give them money or something.
In our production meetings, we've talked about like it's so great that they are around because they can dig and they can do these really great interviews. And then we can make people eat hot chips and shock them with shock collars. We could bring those same musicians on here to be like, great, we know your story. And now we're going to shock you to death.
Torture you.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to torture you.
That's not happening, is it? We're not shocking
No. That's
not
on the
unless
second.
You want to.
The second time you come back. Let me tell you a quick story before we got to move on. But a quick story. No, it's me. Summer Gill came on the show, her second appearance here, and I kind of begged her to come on because we had in the last studio, we had a baby grand piano, which is now in my living room, but we had it in the studio, but nobody ever played it, and I acquired it for free from a good friend, but it was an electric piano, and all the insides were dead, so I gutted the whole thing and put in a whole new piano into it, an electric piano. And nobody played it. It just sat dormant. So I was like, Summer needs to come and she needs to play this thing. I'll pull it out of the corner. I'll set it all up really nice. She agreed. She came. She killed it. We had a great time. But Summer is an adventurer, right? So we were talking about the Death Nut challenge that we did, which is a series of hot nuts that lead up to the hottest nut. And
the big D.
Right
big N.
Right from the big D. And so we were talking about it, and she's like, I could do it. And I was like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. We happen to have some left. And we did. And I took one with her. She was really good for about 1 minute. And then everything fell apart.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Everything fell apart. And she even she admitted later that she had to stop on the way home and pull over and throw up. It was that bad, and she said her guts hurt the whole next day. Some of this stuff is no joke, and she went right for the gusto. So yeah, we won't do anything to you on the first show, but if you come back,
now he's never coming back.
Yeah, when you come back,
I'm gonna forget this address.
It's gonna be
delete from your iPhone.
Oh man!
Just every time, just write past Port St. Lucie. I don't even know this place exists.
Yeah, just blaze right past, right to Universal.
Right there. Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Well, before we get to more music, just quickly want to talk a little bit about the Shake. You guys are awesome, by the way.
Thank you, man.
And your bandmates are great. They really do justice to the music. You guys just got back from a tour. So how did that go?
It was an adventure to say the least. We did about 2 weeks on the road, 12 shows in total, 2 at home. One we did down at this really, really great new venue called Tough Times down in Pompano that we're actually playing there tomorrow night. And
no rest for the wicked, you guys.
I came back. We came back from tour, and I immediately had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show solo. And then honestly, you text me about this show, and then you text me while we were on the road, and you're like, "We're still good." I'm like, "Yeah, we're still good," but it wasn't in my calendar. I live and die by my calendar.
Same.
So then when you text me, be like, "Oh, for tomorrow," or whatever like that, I'm like, "Oh no, I totally forgot about this again." Because if it's not in my calendar, I don't remember. But yeah, when I came back, I immediately had shows. Because I mean, honestly, this is how I pay my bills, so I had to.
Right, you got to work.
So, but yeah, so we did 12 shows. It was interesting. We rented an RV, and halfway through the tour, the generator went on the RV.
No.
So we were not plugging in anywhere. We were just stopping. But we had a generator, so we were fine. We're coming out. We're playing in Philadelphia, and we play the show, and we're in South Philly, and we come outside and the generator's gone. Generator's dead on the RV.
I thought you were gonna say gone.
No.
I was like, yeah, that sounds like South Philly.
Yeah.
Checks out.
No, it was still there. In spirit, it was still there.
In spirit.
So
Nobody wanted it.
It had died though.
You have no idea. So we go out there and the generator's off. So we're like, okay, so the generator and the car run off the same gas tank. So once it gets down to a quarter tank, it shuts off the generator. So we figured, oh, okay, it's at a quarter tank. Got it. So we turn on the car, half tank. We're like, okay, something's wrong. Aquila is a master mechanic. So we literally pull to a gas station in South Philly and for 2 hours trying to figure out what is going on. We cannot figure it out. Then all of a sudden, now meanwhile, we pull up to this gas station. There's this gigantic police officer outside. Huge guy. And he does security for the gas station.
Brilliant.
In South Philly.
Yeah, sometimes you need it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we were there for about 2 hours, and we were only there for 2 hours. We were only there for 2 hours, but we were there for about 2 hours. I finally said, we need to pack this up and go because these guys started showing up literally just with guns on them. And I was like, dudes, like I am not going to survive this.
We gotta go.
Yeah, like I am the white guy that will die. So let's get in here and go.
Wrap it up.
So so we literally drove to a Love's in New Jersey and slept there for the night. But so half the trip we didn't have the generator, and then with the battery that was supposed to power some of the extra stuff, the water pump and everything like that also went. So we had no showers, no bathroom for a couple days.
True rockers.
Yeah, we were literally driving around in a box truck for the last.
You
couple days.
might have been better off.
Might have been. Would have been a lot more roomy, I tell you that. Yeah, because when the generator went, the pop out didn't work either. So it changed our sleeping arrangements as well because we had without the pop out, we had no friggin' room anymore.
There was no manual crank or anything like that. No.
Because it was there was a way to be able to. The things I know about this damn RV now, there was a way to be able to push it back in, but not out. So if it was stuck out, there was a way to do it where you could push it back in, but not out. So we've gone through, literally, we asked the company and they sent us YouTube videos.
Brilliant.
Useless. So it was like, it was one of those, it was a harrowing experience, but it became like the one thing that, you go back to the word you use, galvanize. It galvanized our entire group because this was the thing that was just constantly the torment of us the entire time. But yeah, we almost got killed in a gas station in South Philly, so that was fun. But we made it home. But what happened at the very end was Ian was coming, and
yeah, that's right.
We didn't know at the time. We weren't sure how the storm. It was starting to turn more east.
Right.
We're like, shit, this thing could go straight across and go right to us. So, I mean, like, my wife, my dog, my cats, they're home. Everybody's got family home. So we had to cancel our Jacksonville gig, and we drove from New Jersey to home in a day.
Oh, my God. That's a long drive.
I drove. So, and then on top of it, Aquila, he got sick the last day, so he couldn't drive. And he was the one that was driving the entire time.
Oh, man.
So I had to drive. And I had never driven this damn thing before.
Oh, jeez.
So I mean,
here's the keys. Let's go drive this huge bus.
We're in. I do want to preface with this that we documented the entire thing. So we are making a movie about this trip.
So
and
cool.
This couldn't have been any crazy. Like we've been on tours before. This is the craziest shit that we've ever dealt with, and it just so happened that camera was there the entire time. So I don't want to give too much away, but this is my favorite story to tell. There's so much more in this. This is not going to really even do anything, but it's still going to be funny to watch. So we're in East Setauket. We're playing a show. We had a show in Massachusetts that got canceled because the owner said that they don't want any Floridians in there because we probably have COVID.
Damn.
So that got canceled.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Somerville, Massachusetts, don't ever go to Union Tavern. They suck ass.
F those people.
Yes. So we're in East Setauket. It's our last show, and then we're like, okay, we have to cancel Jacksonville. We're going to drive home. Fine. We get to 7-Eleven in East Setauket just before we're supposed to get. Well, the plan was to drive off of the island because we were on Long Island. East Setauket's in Long Island. I don't know if that was descript. It doesn't matter. Fair enough. Well, no, it does matter for the story because we were on Long Island. So on Long Island, there's two different types of highways. There's parkways and expressways. Parkways, you cannot drive commercial vehicles on because of the bridges, 7 to 10 foot clearance.
Right.
But some of them are 7, some of them are 10. We couldn't take the chance. So we had to get to an expressway. The problem is that on a GPS, you can't click whether you're commercial or not. So we literally have to like look at the map and try and figure out how to be
and
able
all
to
of a
get
sudden
to the
it's
expressway.
1990 again.
All of a sudden. So we pull over to a gas station, a 7-Eleven, and Aquila jumps out of the car because he's just not feeling well. And then he's just out for the rest of the trip. That's it. Right there in that. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm driving.
Oh, dear.
So the idea is to get off of the island, sleep for the night, and then drive home. So in order to get off of the island using the expressways, you have to go through Manhattan.
No.
So in order to be able to get through Manhattan,
no.
you have to drive through tunnels. And we have a 25-foot RV. Now, granted, we have driven this 25-foot RV into Manhattan because we did have a show in Manhattan. And the entire time Aquila was driving, the left-hand side of the car, the driver's side, was hitting. They have like these like little poles, like in the middle. So his driver's side kept going pop, 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 as he was driving. So he's like worrying about he's pulling off to the side. Okay, so I'm thinking about that. All right, cool. Don't hit the poles. So I'm driving a little bit off to the passenger side, and then you hear ee! Because the tires are now scraping against the side of the tunnel.
Oh my
We are
God.
underneath the Hudson at this point in time. I'm in a 25-foot RV, the most white knuckle I've ever driven in my entire life. Everybody in the car is just like holding on for dear life. Meanwhile, Justin Hucker, who was filming it, is just with his camera. He's just going around. He's filming the entire thing. So he has the whole entire thing on camera.
Constant professional.
Yeah, so I had to drive it. And then once we got into Manhattan, that's where we saw the Sam Ash across the street from the Empire State Building. And then to get off of Manhattan, the Lincoln Tunnel. So we had to go into another tunnel.
No.
And then finally got off the island and everything like that. But then we had to drive home and into a hurricane, a 25-foot. We like 20-mile-an-hour gusts coming into Florida.
Literally driving like a brick wall.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my
You could, I
God.
mean, like you could feel like the road is like tossing you every which way. And there's cars that are not feeling this. So they're just zoom, zoom, zoom flying by. It's pouring rain. There's winds. It was nuts. We literally drove a 25-foot RV into a hurricane. It was great. It was one of the most insane things that I've ever been a part of in my entire life. But when we got back, we had our homecoming show at Propaganda, and we all was sitting outside of Prop, and we're like, if that RV rolled up right now and said another 2 weeks, hurricane be damned, generator off, whatever, we'd do it in an instant.
That's awesome.
It was an incredible experience that normally you just get to tell I just get to tell these stories, but this is all on film. And there's
it's gonna be
many
so great.
more stories, and like everybody gets to relive it with us. I'm unbelievably excited for this. It's going to be a while before it because Justin has so much footage.
I was
to
going
go
to say,
through.
he's got his work cut out for him, doesn't he?
He's literally working on it every day since we got back. He's on day 3.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
Wow.
He's got a lot of stuff he's working through. So it's definitely going to be really exciting to be able to see how everybody reacts to the trip. But it was fun, and we played some fun shows. We played a lot of shows to no one, but that's like sort of part of it. And but we had an experience, and if the band ended today, it would definitely be something that would bond us forever because it was an experience.
That is something that is a bonding experience. That's for sure.
Driving a 25-foot RV through the Lincoln Tunnel, yeah, it's a bonding experience.
No.
Oh my gosh.
It was nuts.
So on top of everything else, you're also a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit off air about the various podcasts you've been a part of, but the one that's working right now is the Shake Cast with your bandmates. And it's interesting because it's you guys record it during your band rehearsals, and it's really raw and fun to listen to. I listened to a couple episodes.
I was going to say, did you listen to it?
Yeah, and they're chaotic. It's just chaotic enough to give me anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's also
try being there.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's also interesting enough to keep my attention. So
cool.
How is podcasting for you? Like, is that something you enjoy doing? Like, obviously we do it because we're certainly not getting rich off of it.
No.
But is it something that you enjoy doing? And are there other projects that you'd like to do?
Yeah. I mean, I love podcasting. I have been broadcasting, doing some type of either podcast or internet radio for too many years.
Right.
I started doing a sports podcast out of my house. I want to say like 11, 12 years ago or something like that. And that was my first foray. And then we got picked up by an internet radio station named the WEI Network. And we did it for probably about a year or so. And then from there, I went into radio. And then while I was in radio, I was always involved. I was like, we didn't do podcasts. Like, podcasts are fun. And that was like the unfiltered. Like when we were on actual air, we couldn't curse. We couldn't say risque things. And
the FCC.
Yeah. So the podcasts was the great way to be able to really, show our personality. So podcast has always been something that
filthy personality.
I know. Yeah. I mean, in all reality, yeah, it's when, especially when you're talking about sports and everything like that, it can get pretty bad. But yeah, podcasting has always been really fun for me. It's always been an outlet that I've loved to be able to go back to every once in a while. And it's something that I'm very comfortable doing. Like, obviously, like I know how to speak into a microphone. I know how to pronunciate. I know how to be able to handle myself on a podcast. So when the guys came to me and said, we should do a podcast, this was a joke that Akila kept going. He kept going. Every time we'd say something stupid, he's like, Shakecast. And I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my entire life. To this day, more people have listened to the podcast than they have streamed any of our songs on Spotify.
See, it's a crazy forum that people enjoy.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why people like it so much. It's literally just me trying not to lose my mind for 45 minutes, and them just going completely insane for the most part. I mean, like the two of them together are just like an unhinged couple,
right?
And I'm just trying to wrangle them for the most part, and it's fun, and I do enjoy it, and I love that. I think we're the only band that does it, it's around here at least. And it's a different avenue for us to be able to talk about things and promote things and stuff like that. Plus, we always play a song every show. So then I get to work on that, and so we have like a bunch of like songs in there, full songs, and it's cool. I mean, like, honestly, they were right when they had the idea. They were like, this is a good idea. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. And then it turns out they're idiots, and they were also right at the same time. But
idiot geniuses,
yeah.
like
they are
secret geniuses is what
they are. Total idiot geniuses, absolutely. But yeah, I love podcasting, and I wish I had the time to do more. But it's just right now it's like bandwidth trying to figure out. Especially, I think right at this very moment, it's tough to think about doing something else because we literally just got back from 2 weeks of tour.
Right.
We got back from 2 weeks of tour, and then we actually did a tour. We did a week tour around Florida, came back for a week, then went to Texas for a week and a half, came back for a week, and then went out for 2 weeks to do an East Coast tour.
Jeez.
So like the last 3 months have just been how my wife hasn't left me at this point in time. I don't know. It's she puts up with a lot, and that was a lot. I mean, like, it was intense to have to be out on the road that much, and not something I want to do. I love touring, but I do not want to be on the road as much as I was. But it was just like a extenuating circumstance, and obviously we were making a movie, so I mean,
yeah,
it was a little bit different. But yeah, so I would love to be able to do. I'm a huge movie nerd, and I would love to do a movie podcast, but I just like finding somebody that's as much of a nerd as me, and that I can be able to stand talking to for an hour. Also, it's tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things. I did mention before that I wanted to start a movie podcast with my wife, saying my wife hates movies. She thought it was a bad idea. I think it's a brilliant idea.
See, you need to tell her.
Yeah.
You may think it's a bad idea, but I'm a secret genius.
Well, I'll just have Akila tell her, and then she'll believe Akila.
See, there you go.
Yeah, he's a secret genius, secret idiot genius.
Oh man. Well, just the one last thing we'll talk about here is what's on the horizon for you musically. What's the next step in the Ricky Bobby train that's rolling on through town?
Well, we're about to start recording our next EP. We were originally going to do an album, and I realized that nobody gives a shit about albums. They're just too long. Nobody cares. And we were going to we have probably about 15 or 16 songs that are basically written, 8 that are actually done. And I was like, we're going to put together this album, get this whole concept and everything like that. I'm like, why am I wasting my time? Nobody gives a crap. And
they're just going to pick out their favorites anyway,
exactly.
Really.
Exactly, and that's what happens. It's you like Roller Coaster. That's a song we do not play live. I mean, we played it for maybe 3 weeks, and then we were done with it. And it was just one of those things where I much rather put out a shorter amount of songs that we can be able to put into the hardest part about writing new songs is taking the old songs out of the set list.
Sure.
I hate having to lose some of these songs. And this is the most the Joe and Aquila have made me the most creative I've ever been in my entire life. The most dedicated to my music that I've ever been in my entire life. I don't know what I would do without them. And Dominic too, honestly. Dominic's not a part of the Shake, but he is our tour manager. And I play drums for his band when we do full band stuff. And if it wasn't for these guys, I would not have the motivation to be able to do the things that I'm doing. And I'm extremely grateful to be able to met people that that did. And like the way that me and Joe and Aquila met was at a very, very, it was not a fun circumstance, and we managed to make the best of it. And I'm very, very happy to be able to be with them. But I hate that we're able to write so many songs that we just can't play live. We're not going to play, like we're not going to play 2-hour sets of all originals. It's tiring. And I don't think anybody gives a shit.
Exhausting.
Yeah. But it also too, it's like, do you really care about 2 hours of originals? Like I know some bands that do it. I'm like, I know you can do it, but why?
Just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Unless of course you're selling 30 million albums and have selling out arenas.
But even with that, it's like, do you really need to? I don't know.
I guess even like Zach Brown doesn't even play all of his own stuff. He plays covers.
That son of a bitch plays for an hour and he's out. I mean, but it's one of those things where like, we were going to do an album and it just like the EP just makes more sense. So we're about to start recording that next week. We're about to get rolling on this movie. Other than that, that's really it. That's what I'm sort of focused on. When we do come back with the Shakecast, we're going to try and do a video format. We've got a bunch of like extra footage from the road that I've been working on putting songs together. I did put up Fire from South Carolina. We played this great place called Tin Roof in South Carolina. Yeah. And when I put that up, I have one song from every venue. So I'm just trying to figure out how to be able to release it, if it should be on YouTube or Instagram or I don't even know. It's just like my brain is still sort of dead from all that.
Right,
so
yeah.
Trying to compute all this shit and then also play, original shows and then, be like a normal human.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck. There's no coming back. Like we'll never be normal again.
No,
really.
No, absolutely not.
Oh man. Well, that's awesome, dude. And like I mentioned in the very beginning, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So now that the tough stuff's out of the way, I think we're going to play that video that you're just talking about.
Oh, dope.
Everybody will get a chance to go pee-pee, and then we'll come back and we're going to...
Not everybody watching. Everybody watch this. Don't pee-pee.
Yeah, no pee-pee.
Unless you're watching this in the bathroom, then you can pee-pee.
Yeah, most people usually do watch this live in the bathroom. It's a great venue. I highly recommend it. Yeah. You don't have very far to go, and there's usually sink if you get thirsty.
Yeah. And the Big D.
And the Big D for some of you. Anyway, you guys, this is a peak performance by The Shake from their recent tour. This is Fire. Oh, God, we've been talking so long, my mouse disappeared. I don't even know where she is. There you are. So we're going to take a quick hiatus. We're going to come back. We'll get Ricky to play another song, and then we've got just a couple more things to get through. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Fire.
Last song we're going to be playing tonight, we have a music video for it. You can be able to go check it out on our Instagram at @TheShakeFL. If you want to check out any merch, we got some merch over there. And also, if you just want to give us some of your money, because it's a lot of money to, put gas in a car. The song's called Fire. Yeah, do you wanna smoke some fire marijuana? Yeah, do you wanna just forget about the drama, smoke some fire marijuana? Oh! Yeah, the word is ground, put it down, oh baby, what are you gonna do? All you gotta do is be human, all you gotta do is be true. Cause it couldn't go that the end of the show is for me and you. So settle down and listen to the sound of the spark. Goes on buzzing into you, oh yeah. Do you wanna smoke some fire marijuana? Yeah, do you wanna forget about the drama, smoke some fire marijuana? Oh! Maybe one day we could just put all of this behind. Take a moment to breathe and finally feel like we're fine. I guess it's sleeping through the night. Oh, yeah, do you wanna smoke some fire marijuana? Yeah, do you wanna forget about your thumb and smoke some fire marijuana? Oh, da 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 da. We seem to be spinning so out of control, and no matter how old we are, we just can't swallow our pride in all our things to look at. We're always to blame. I guess I need a won't change. So maybe the weed is just what we need. Light it up and come smoke with me. Maybe the weed is just what we need. Light it up and come smoke with me. Maybe the weed is just what we need. Light it up and come smoke with me. Maybe the weed is just what we need. Oh, light it up and come smoke Carolina. Yeah, do you wanna smoke some fire marijuana? Yeah, do you wanna forget about the dumb and smoke some fire marijuana? Oh, da 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 da. Marijuana. Thank you, Tim Rue.
I love that.
Thank you so much. You guys have one for now. Figure out the
Awesome. I love that, man. Sounded great. Is that one off of the record, the latest EP that you guys have?
Yeah, all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
Yeah, that was
or
a song,
generators.
That was yeah, that was a song that I had written. I was in a band called actually I don't even want to say their name because
Nah.
screw them. I was in another band and I wrote that song and it was the most popular song that we had. And then Joe was the bass player. Akila was the backup drummer.
No kidding.
And so when they fired Joe, I quit, and then Akila quit at the same time, and then they bugged me about starting the band, and I was like, nope, I don't want to do it. I don't want to start another band. I just went through all this bullshit.
Over. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done with it. So so it was one of those situations where I just didn't want to be a part of it, and then we wound up it working out. But that song, we tried to play it originally, and it just didn't sound right. It was just the wrong timing, and then we put it together. We made it more us. Originally, I had written it like that. If you hear the version, there is on Spotify, there is a version of it that you can listen to, and I have no problem if you listen to it because I make money off of it, so it's fine.
Perfect.
But it literally sounds like the toy version of it. It's so bizarre because it's like reggae,
right?
And this version is very much not reggae.
No, it gave me as a Bowling for Soup fan, it gave me like Bowling for Soup vibes. Right out of the gate.
Oh, that's awesome. What a compliment. I love Bowling for Soup.
Oh, good.
Good. Have you hered Jarrett's country album?
I have not.
Don't.
No, okay.
Do not. If you want, do not, do all, don't, and stop. Full stop on his country album. It's very bad.
Okay.
But yeah, Bowling for Soup. I love Bowling for Soup though. They have like that quality of like radio, but still sort of different. His voice is very different. I don't know.
It was always like pop punk to me,
yeah.
and I loved it. Like I love pop music. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't deny it. I love radio music. I love top 40.
Pop punk is.
I don't play it, but I love it. You know,
pop punk is becoming a little bit of it has a bit of a resurgence lately. Generic pop punk has had a resurgence lately, and I think that was like Fire sort of just fit into that generic pop punk.
That's awesome.
But the rest of the album doesn't sound like that. And the rest of the songs of like all the songs off the new stuff is like radically different than most of that, except for one song. But yeah, we try. The one thing about the Shake is that like we always want to write songs that we would listen to. And so in the beginning, I was like writing all these like really like 3-minute, 30-second songs. I was like, these are radio-worthy songs. And I've been doing that my entire life, just writing pop songs. And finally, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. This is so stupid. And every time we write a song, and like because we record all of our practices, obviously. Every time we write a song, and I look at the thing, and I'm like, 5 minutes. We're like, hell yeah, 5 minutes. Fuck radio.
See,
we
cares?
try and be as weird as possible. Like there's one song called "Stay the Night" that's a reggae song the entire time, and then you get into the end of it and it has a full-on hardcore breakdown in it. Why? That's what we felt like.
Yeah, why not? Shake it up. Right? Am I right?
Yep.
No, crickets.
Yeah. Is that something we say around here?
Yeah. It's another one of our sayings that I don't know
sounds
about.
like a green text joke.
Well, before I put you on the hot seat, do you want to do another live tune for us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? All right, you guys, give it up for Ricky B.
To Nashville, I say, why don't you get a life? You obviously don't know how it is. 'Cause I can stand right on the corner, me, myself, a million times. An area code, it's all it is. 'Cause my songs are the same songs and the same notes as the others. You ask, why don't I move to Nash? I've heard some stories that you might discover. That you can't be weird, you can't be strange, you can't be everything you wanna be, and you better change your name. Yeah, you can't be true, at least not true to you. And after everything I say, you still say, why don't you move to Nashville? Why don't you move to Nashville? They say, why don't you get out on the road and get right out of town? 'Cause nobody makes a staying in one place. If I left when it felt right, I wouldn't be who I am, and you wouldn't see this smile on my face. My songs are the same songs and the same notes as the others. You ask, why don't I move to Nash? I've heard some stories that you might discover. That you can't be weird, you can't be strange, you can't be everything you wanna be, and you better change your name. Yeah, you can't be true, not true to you. And after everything I say, you still say, why don't you move to Nashville? Why don't you move to Nashville? 'Cause you can't be
can't be strange. You can't be everything you wanna be, and you better change your name. You say you can't be true, at least not true to you. And after everything I say, you still say, why don't you move to Nashville? Why don't you move to Nashville? Runaways calling my name, but I don't pick up the phone. Runaways calling my name, but I don't pick up the phone. Say, why don't you move to Nashville? Why don't you move to Nashville?
That is a great song. Please, is that an original tune?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, quick story about that.
Very good.
I've heard you perform that several times. We mentioned that we play at Blue Point in Tequesta pretty often together, and I've heard you perform that song, and I was like, to the point where I like try to like look it up by lyrics, like I would catch a couple lines and be
cool.
What is that song? Who does this song? I want to listen to it. Is that recorded at all, or is it?
Me and Danielle have a demo version of it that we did. That's on like a random SoundCloud somewhere. I'll send you the demo version, but it's not. I don't have a full studio version of it. But
that just what you did there.
Oh, thank you.
Is my to listen to it in the headphones too. Like
it's different because like normally like when I play live, I have one headphone in and one headphone out.
Right, so you can kind of get that boom boom.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different than hearing it in like straight headphones. So it was a little bizarre because you can really hear the guitar. Like you can hear like this way the strings move and how much, because like I can't tell how much reverb I'm using, which is kind of.
Well, that's Jordan's favorite sound in the world is the the acoustic strings.
Love it?
Being sarcastic.
She hates it.
Got it.
So,
That's something we say around here.
I don't know. I mean, like sometimes if it's done okay, but there's that. What's that song?
It's that Maroon 5
one.
I forget the name of the song.
Memories? No.
Here's to the ones that we
Is
got.
it that one? I don't know. They have so many new ones lately. I feel like they're.
I don't know. There's one where it's just
I think it's that one where they do the dun dun dun. Right?
Yeah, that's a great explanation.
Okay, I don't know.
There's
anyway,
a lot of string
I
movements.
am
and I'm like,
so informed now.
It makes me just.
You know what? The reason why it's making so much, I literally changed the strings before I got here. So like they're like fresh.
No, it sounded great. I really love that. So is there a story behind that or a quick story behind that tune?
Yeah, so that was when me and Danielle, who I play with like mine, she's actually having her video premiere, her single Dreams, tonight at Northwood Art Music.
Oh, that explains why we don't have any viewers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I told her I was going, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot I had this podcast. So she's probably killing it though. But she's an incredible songwriter. And when I met her, we've had this common thing where people always are like, if you're any bit good at what you do, people are like, you should go to New York, you should be in California, you should move to Nashville. And people just said it to me enough. And then one day my friend texted me and was like, well, I posted some video of me playing, and she's like, you need to move to Nashville. And I was like, I'm so fucking sick of people saying this to me. And then I just was like, I've just wrote it. Why don't you move to Nashville? Because that was her exact text, was why don't you move to Nashville? And I just started writing this whole entire song around it. And then it just turned into this thing. It's one of my favorite songs that I've written in, I don't even know how long. And I love that tune. And when she sings it with me, it's so much better.
You have to send me that link. I do want to hear that.
I have to find it.
Listen, man, that song it has everything. It has everything that I think a song needs, in my opinion, and it's humble, clearly, to like be a huge mega hit, man. Even if you sold it to somebody else, a huge pop star, like it would just. It's one of those songs that it's so personal, but it's also so just wide.
I think it's
so
the most
encompassing.
country song I've ever written.
Well, it's definitely country. Well, I mean, it's not country,
well,
but
like the way that country music is now, I feel like it's the most country song that I've written that's so anti-country.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, we played in Nashville, and we played it in Nashville, and they loved it. They were like, this is great. They made us play it again.
It's great. Your rendition of it. I mean, I
can't wait to hear it in the headphones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah,
didn't get the,
yeah.
Because I don't know the vibes it gave me. I don't know because I didn't get to hear the whole.
Oh yeah, you
caboodle,
just
but
all she gets to hear is just the guitar going.
Yeah, and some of the like tapping and whatnot. Yeah, and the singing. I don't know. It gave
sounds
me like
so good.
I don't know if it's. I think it's a compliment, kind of, but it gave me kind of like Mike Posner vibes.
Yeah, Mike Posner's great.
I love that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yay. I thought so,
awesome.
but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like
Fucking love Mike Posner.
He's really great.
Totally underrated.
and like a story, like he has all those.
There was a one summer that I was obsessed with this one. I listened to it on repeat. It was like one album that he had. It had like 20 songs on it, a bunch of covers on it, and everything like that. And I was just like, I was mind blown by this guy.
Yeah.
But
He's very talented.
honestly one of the guys that I looked at when I was doing like solo stuff, when I was building the solo set. Mike Posner was definitely one of the guys that I had definitely looked at. That's I forgot about him, honestly.
Yeah,
so
right.
Now on my way home, I'm gonna be listening to some Mike Posner.
I feel like I need to dive into him because I only know the couple, mega hits.
Well, that's kind of like what that Pill and Ibiza song is all about. It's like I'm just a has-been kind of.
Yeah.
Even though he's not, he's so like. That song catapulted him right back to the top.
And you know what's crazy? The version you have on the radio station. It's like slowed down, so you can actually kind at the version on there. It's like you could hear
there's a
all
version
of
of
it.
him
It's
playing
so
it
good.
acoustic, Pill and Ibiza acoustic in Seattle at a radio event, and halfway, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Halfway through it, he starts crying.
Yeah,
like it is such an emotional like.
I think it was clearly a very personal tune to him.
Yeah. It's obviously he was very good friends with Avicii. So
yeah.
But it was just like it's a very, very personal song, and like him playing it just solo acoustic. It's slow.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart every time.
It's a great song too because it just like it takes you on the journey. Like you can you're
so
like
good.
in that song, like everything he says.
All the time, like I always, as a songwriter, like I hope that I can write a song like that.
Yeah.
Like
if you didn't hit the mark with this tune, you're so close. Genuinely, that's
Thank
a
you,
really,
man.
really great song.
Thank you.
I can't wait to listen to it. Because it was
blown away, man.
It was
Thank
good.
you, man.
And like I said, I'm so glad that you played it because I've admired that tune.
I wasn't going to, and but honestly, every time you were at Blue Point, I played that song.
I know. I think it was like a set ender.
So the way I usually do my solo sets is like I always play an original song as my last song. And just because at that point in time, usually either nobody cares or everybody cares. Either way, they're going to hear it.
Yeah, really.
You know what I mean? So I usually end. So like my first set is usually that "What You Want" song, the first song I played, and then I have a couple other tunes. But Nashville's always usually the last one, and it usually gets people's attention, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I wrote it, and Danielle said the same thing. She's like, "This is a hit," and I was like,
"It is a hit."
Sure.
Yeah.
I've written so many damn songs that I thought were hits in the past and went nowhere. So I just like, if somebody hears it and they're like, "That is a hit," I'm like, "Oh, cool."
If you went in, listen, man. If you went into a studio and you recorded that song just the way that you performed it here or perform it regularly,
yeah.
I think it would murder, man. Like
no
band, do it just the way you did it.
I
here.
wanted to do a
crazy
version of it
good.
like that. When we went to Nashville, and we played in Nashville. I wrote it. I went to Studio B, RCA Studio B. You ever been?
Ooh, excuse me.
There was that death wish coming back to get you.
Oh my gosh,
it really is.
Oh my god. Oh no,
I'm so sorry.
He's going down.
He's getting choked up.
All you got to say is RCA Studio B.
It does it for him.
It's
it takes me to a place I don't want to be.
Nothing like Studio D.
I was trying to figure out a way to be able to bring it in there. Now that's a blue text joke. Was it a? So, but yeah, you ever been to RCA Studio B in Nashville?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, so if you go to Nashville, go to RCA Studio B. I went in there, and it's like where like Roy Orbison first recorded, where Elvis recorded a lot of his stuff. You go into the room, and they were in the room, and inside of the room, they have like these lights that are different colors that Elvis's team they put in, and they would change the coloring of the light depending on what the mood of the song was and everything like that. So they're in there, and they were explaining all this stuff like that, and they were talking about like this guy who came in, he had this weird voice, and that was one of the first studios that like essentially created reverb. And so they were like, they did this whole entire way, and it was this one unknown artist named Roy Orbison, and they cut the lights and they played this Roy Orbison song, and I wept, like hard cried. Like it was the most incredible experience.
It's so like places retain energy, not to get super deep and on a tangent, but like places retain energy. And
I
when
felt
it, when
the
it's
moment
that,
I came in that room.
it's crazy, right? I felt there's some places I've gone where you're just over, something that, a place that you've always wanted to go or means something to you personally. And you finally get to that place and it's like a wash of emotion. Mm-hmm. It's really, really quite an experience. If you haven't experienced it, you guys got to get out more.
There's some things. I mean, like I didn't expect it to be that way, and it was like one of those things that I went to that trip. We played in Nashville. We played that Nashville song in Nashville. I was like, there's gonna be like this big, rich moment of like inspiration, and it never happened. And I did Studio B the last day, and it was so hard to not show that I was crying. But I was weeping. It was like incredible. So then I went home and I wrote in the hotel. I wrote a song about that. And my idea, I wrote this song called "These Walls," and my idea was to go. I wanted to record Nashville and These Walls in Studio B because you can still rent out. And still record
absolutely.
Do it that exact way. So I mean, maybe in a year or so, or whenever I get time or money, I can be able to do that. But I definitely want to be.
Hear that out there, people? Ricky needs time and money. One of those things you could give. So in Shameless Plugs, he's going to give you the Venmo, and we're going to make that happen. That song, listen, man, that song's got to be cut. You got to cut that song.
Thank you.
And I'm half tempted, with your permission, of course, to kind of cut that and put it on our radio station, put that in rotation.
You can absolutely.
If we can get it. Up to snuff on my end.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like I said, I'll send you the demo version that we did with me and Danielle. And with our two voices, like the song goes from here to here. It's like
it slaps.
It's
good. Did I say it right?
Quit trying to be blue text. But good job. Good job.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Young grasshopper.
Well, awesome, man. Listen, we're gonna get through these next couple of. We're actually doing pretty good on time. I felt like we were going on forever. I was so enthralled, but we're actually doing pretty good on time. We're gonna put you on the hot seat, Ricky. Are you prepared?
Okay. I basically just told you that I cried in public, so I don't think anything else can.
What do we have to lose?
What do I got to lose?
Brilliant.
Remember the time when I crapped my pants? I did crap my pants.
Do I?
Yeah. From time to time, or just one time?
No. There was one time. One time. We probably don't have time for that story.
Okay. Maybe at the end.
Maybe.
Shameless plugs.
Shameless plugs.
Shameless plug. Yeah, I wish I had a plug that day.
Listen, we're going to put Ricky on the hot seat in this rapid fire interview inspired by the late, great host of Inside the Actor Studio, Mr. James Lipton. This is Inside the Lipton Tea. Together. You two.
Just reflecting.
Sorry.
Like a mirror. All right, here we are, you guys. This is Inside the Lipton Tea, and I'm Brad, playing the part of Mr. James Lipton. I'm here with Ricky Bobby, also known as Ricky B.
I was wondering how long it was going to go before we called me Ricky Bobby.
Bolufe. Right?
Yeah, Bolufe, you're right.
Bolufe. Mm-hmm. Among other names that we won't mention here. Are you ready?
Sure. Let's
do
it.
Ricky, what is your favorite word?
Favorite word? Man, I love so many. I love words. Honestly, galvanize. I use that very often.
It's a good one.
I love that word.
I actually wrote that in my script today.
Oh, really?
I was like,
love
that's
galvanize.
A good word.
I love when people know how to use vocabulary correctly. It's so exciting.
I do have a thesaurus bookmarked and I use it quite often for writing purposes, which is what it's for, really.
Good words. Good words are always
galvanized. Nice. What is your least favorite word?
Oh my God, I just had this in my head. Some people say it all the time. Oh my God, I can't. This is gonna kill me now that I can't think of it.
Android.
I see where this is going.
No. Oh man, it's not actually. It's
Oh, I know which one you're
You
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's like people say it all the time.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
I hate literally. Because it literally, you literally never need to use the word literally.
Waste of a word.
It is. It's a power word to make a point. I get it.
Yeah.
What about
I think Parks and Rec really ruined that word. Right? It was that show with what's his name? Was the
I watched like 3 episodes. I got bored with it.
Yeah, I don't.
What's the good-looking guy from the '80s? From Tommy Boy.
From you talking about Rob Lowe?
Rob Lowe, yeah.
Yeah.
See, yeah. It took me a while, but I got there.
I love how you talked about Rob Lowe as Tommy Boy. Like that was your point of reference for Rob Lowe.
You knew I would
like
get
not
that.
St. Elmo's Fire or
for
anything.
her. I knew that she would get it. The Tommy
Top 10
Boy.
favorite movie.
Oh,
for sure.
I love Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Well, now we've. Oh, what about if it said literally?
No, that's even more annoying.
Oh,
yeah, it's even more annoying.
Literally.
Literally.
What are you, Ben Childs?
I wish I had that
I have to
fun
get a dig at
accent.
Ben every once in a while.
Yeah, I gotta
Nice.
get a dig in there.
All right. Ricky, what turns you on?
Vocabulary. Good vocabulary. People that know how to speak. It's always just like so nice. I love being able to have a conversation where I can say words that I like to use and not have to be like, this means this. You know what I mean?
And also define it as you go on.
Use that in a sentence. I just did.
Well, I guess you might have answered your
I
own.
literally just said it.
literally
Answered this question. What turns you off?
Why? We're just gonna keep talking about grammar, aren't we? At this point in time.
Nothing like grammar's cooking.
Abbreviating words that don't need to be abbreviated.
Ah, yes.
Like my wife just sent me a text because we were talking about words. This word dupe, which is short for duplicate. Dupe of something. Like it's not necessary.
I do hate that.
I don't like the abbreviation of words. Like duplicate is 3 syllables. Like just take an extra second. Not even.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the kids these days. This is when I start feeling really old.
God, you're telling me.
You know what I hate? My sister has her phone intentionally so that nothing is capitalized. Like even the first word of a sentence is not cap. And I'm like, what? You don't names.
If
Everything's
I text
lowercase.
you, I have commas, periods.
Yeah. I text like I'm writing a novel.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know, like the thesis paper.
Beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Absolutely.
Riggy, what sound or noise do you love?
What?
What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise? The little percolation sound at the end of when you make coffee, like just when you know it's about done.
Oh yeah, does that
When
like
you hear
like? No, that's not right.
Well,
I don't know what that sound was. Big D.
yeah. I was gonna let that one go too.
But no, I know. Yeah, when you're like, it's done. It's about to steep
like
for another 5 minutes.
Especially if you use like a drip coffee, so you walk away from it. So when you're like in the other room and all of a sudden you hear you're like, oh, okay, time to go back and get my
Time
coffee.
to go get that coffee.
Yes.
Not for me. I'm done with coffee tonight.
Well, yeah, you're probably
I'm
done with
over here
coffee
like
for the
buzzing.
week. Yeah.
You know?
Got the jitters.
Contrary
what are you
to
doing, repainting the house. It's midnight.
Oh, good. I have time.
There's still more time.
I have time to watch it dry. What sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise do I hate? Other people eating.
Yeah. Not an ASMR fan then?
I will literally, I will lose my appetite. I have gotten, because when I was a kid, my dad used to yell at me for chewing with my mouth open.
Oh, wow.
And it got to the point where it stuck with me so much that now when I see other people, when I'm around people that chew with their mouth open, it nauseates me.
No,
like I have to walk away from them.
Oh my!
It's
God,
bad.
you've been traumatized.
It's bad. It's really bad. Like we will become unfriends real quick. Like I have one friend that chews with his mouth open, and he's lucky I love him because I can't, like, people that are messy eaters are just like, I don't know. It's like my one thing. Like I eat chicken wings with chicken wing in this hand. When I do eat chicken wings, it's very rare. But chicken wing in this hand, napkin in this hand, bite, wipe, bite, wipe.
We'd be best friends. I was just gonna say, like, it's not a pet peeve. Like, I can get over it. It really doesn't bother me. But like, people that and it's almost because I'm jealous, I guess, because like I'm a very clean eater. Like I eat and I wipe my mouth constantly,
Yeah.
and
I
but,
always
like,
have a napkin in my hand.
But I have some friends that will go to Chowtown and like they don't
I
wipe
don't
their
have those
mouth.
friends.
They don't wipe their mouth until they're at the end of their meal, and like I said, it doesn't bother me, but I know I could never enjoy my meal like they can. So I'm bitter and jealous.
No, I can't
and
enjoy my meal
slightly
around
disgusted.
people that enjoy their meal like that.
Savages.
Yes.
It's literally
right.
like when like people eating like ribs and stuff like that, and they're just like they have like the barbecue smile.
No,
like,
I can't live
get
that
out of
way.
here with that.
That's
That
kind of
somewhere else.
Yeah. Mm.
That's why I don't eat wings or ribs really, because I just don't want to be around it.
Oh man, eat them by yourself.
Now
In a dark room.
Dude, if I was by myself if I was blind, I would still be wiping my mouth. It wouldn't matter.
And people who use more than just these fingers, like how you can get all your fingers involved with being messy.
That's also a thing too. Like
Yeah.
I literally like a chicken wing like this.
Yeah, same.
Like that
Even the
smallest
third
amount-
finger.
and it's just like beep beep beep, and I'm clean.
Seriously, I'm a weirdo. If I can eat ribs with a fork, I do it.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know, if
too.
you know, I don't mind picking them up if it's unavoidable. You know, but like if I can eat them, if I can like peel the meat, I don't know. Anyway,
No,
off
believe
topic.
me. Listen, this is totally like my wife deals with so much with my eating habits because I can't like if there she'll be like sitting next to me, we're like eating, and she'll like take a bite of like a chip or something, and you'll hear that, and she's like, "You want me to put the TV on?" I'm like, "Yes, please." She knows because it just bothers me so much.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Dominic, he's mentioning Joe's ice cream mustache on tour.
Oh my God, this idiot! This idiot goes to the Lincoln Memorial with a fucking ice cream mustache. He literally eats this ice cream cone. He does not pay attention. He's walking around. Meanwhile, they go up to the Lincoln Memorial because these two girls that they were looking after. So now they follow these girls up to the Lincoln Memorial, and then he comes back down. He's like, "Hey, it was a Lincoln Memorial." I'm like, "What's on your face, man?" The entire time he had this huge ice cream mustache on his face.
How
like
do you not notice?
Like a 7-year-old.
I love that.
It's
Joe, that's a riot, man.
I love Joe.
Oh, all right, Ricky. What is your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word? I mean, it's got to be fuck because I use it so often.
It's the most common one.
It's got to be.
It's very versatile.
Yeah, that's
It is,
why.
yeah.
It's you ever seen the movie Boondock Saints?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know the part where Rocco just loses his mind and he's like, "Fucking what the fucking fuck," and like the whole part is like, "Wow, it really shows the diversity of the word." It's like that. It really is like it's the most versatile word, and you can use it in all different types of circumstances. But
It's
yeah.
true. We didn't we have a game during one of our shows where everybody went around and said "fuck" a different way.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can also it pairs beautifully with other words as well.
Yeah.
Like I think like Ryan Reynolds did it the best in all the Deadpool movies. Like he like fuck buckets. Like why is that funny? But it is.
But it works.
It's like it just pairs beautifully like a fine wine and a cheese.
True.
Yes.
It hypes the word up.
It really does.
Yeah.
It is the
Next.
word's hype man.
Next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a word hype, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
like that.
There you go.
Write that down.
Belinda said she just said that, but she didn't want to type it. That's okay, Belinda. We're not the word police here. You can.
She
you
just
could-
sad fuck buckets?
No, she didn't say fuck buckets.
Oh.
I think she was just saying fuck in general.
I was going to say, how odd.
What profession other than your own would you like to try? Maybe something you've not done. There's not much, clearly.
The only thing that I've ever wanted to do aside from music was maybe direct.
Nice.
I'd like to. My goal always the two things I want to do before I die is I want to write a book and I want to make a movie. And I'm in the process of making a movie, but it's like I'm in the movie sort of thing. But
Right.
I would like to write and direct a movie, and write a book before I.
That's good goals.
Yeah, I feel like I can do that.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I literally have in my notes, I will write a book. It's an empty note, but it's in there.
I've been trying to write a book for years. Don't ask me for advice. I don't know what to tell you.
I wrote a musical. I wrote 2 acts of a musical one time. That didn't go far. I wrote a series of short stories in an attempt to write a book. That didn't go far. And then I started writing this fantasy book. I got maybe like 3 chapters in, and I got bored and I stopped.
Yep.
So
It's tough
it'll
to keep.
happen
It's tough to
eventually.
keep the train going. It really is.
I'm in the process of trying to write one now, and it's not.
That's why songwriting's so great. You get in, you get out, and you're done.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Sometimes you don't even have to write whole song. Like you could just write like a verse and a chorus and just bounce the fuck out of that.
That's
thing.
it. That's it.
Hey.
Now, what job would you not do under any circumstances whatsoever?
Work at Hurricane. No, I'm kidding. Was it or the Big D?
Or the Big D?
The job that I would never do under any circumstances. Anything that is a desk job.
Yeah.
Anything that says that you have to be in this one place from 9 to 5. Forever.
Forever.
That's I just know it. Like I'd much rather work for UPS than do that.
Yeah. I can see
honestly, UPS is better benefits anyway. So, that's just, it's just the reality. You have to think about the long term. You know?
You get to go outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get to wear
Fresh
those,
air.
those dope brown shorts and socks. I don't know.
You're an
Always
expert at driving
cool.
the big vehicle now.
Always
so.
exactly.
cool from
Yes.
the knees down.
Yeah. Any type of desk job. I don't know, but just like any type of corporate desk job, I would never be able to do. I'd probably kill myself.
Well, don't do that then.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Did you bring the Big D?
Did you bring the Big D?
That's up to you, God. That seems to be out of my control. What would I want God to say? I don't know. I feel like I'm always in search of validation. So it's just like to try and expect more validation after life is insane. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you didn't fuck up that bad.
Yeah, see?
It could have been way worse.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
I've seen worse.
Oh, awesome.
It's funny. I feel like for musicians specifically, a lot of their answers are also the job they would not want to have under any circumstances, like an office desk job.
Yeah, it's
I feel
either-
like quite a few people have said that.
It's like desk job
yeah.
or being a garbage man.
Yeah,
I think that's,
dealing with poop.
Honestly, I would be a garbage man over a desk job.
Yeah,
Better benefits.
better benefits. Yeah.
You'd be a
Yeah.
little
Get
more
it.
stinky, but that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
shitty
okay.
situations, but
Ah.
yeah.
You just, especially in Florida,
Oh.
all you're doing is building mountains.
It's true. We got to have some sort of landscape around here. All right, you guys, we're going to quickly get through this game time. We don't have Derek, so you got to grab the boards.
Oh golly.
Sorry, but you don't have to grab a whole lot. It's just 2 for the 2s of you. Get your thinking caps on because it's time for a riveting round of Name That Tune. That's okay. Jordan is too. But our
Like,
viewers are not, so.
I am the worst. Like I am the worst musician on the planet. Like I don't listen to a lot of. I listen to a lot of obscure stuff, so I never know.
Well, that's good because this is not necessarily obscure,
We should
but
have named that movie clip segment.
That would have been
Yeah,
too easy.
like you just listen to a little snippet of a movie.
Yeah, that would
that would have been
that would have
like
been
a
too
like
easy.
a
Yeah.
like a famous line or
I would
something.
have destroyed you.
I only know Tommy Boy. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you guys. We invite all of our live viewers out there to play along with us. If you guys are still left, we thank you for sticking with us. We invite you to play along in the chats and comments. In this round, we're looking for the name of the song and the artist or band that performs it. Tonight's category is "We Make Coffee Too." These are all groups or artists that have their own coffee brands or blends.
Chad Kroger.
And bonus points. Bonus points if you can name the coffee brands. So are we ready to play? So you're gonna write down. I forget that you haven't played this yet. Write down the name of the song and the artist on the board. You get it. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Here we go, guys. First clue coming at you. Maybe.
I heard you crying loud.
Here's that clue one more time for you.
I heard you crying loud.
It's a very old song.
Yes. This is the oldest on this list. That's for sure.
Oh no.
Come on. This
I
is
know
a
the
This
song.
is a huge song. Back in 1998 or 1997.
I was a
I had to
fetus. No,
I had to sing through it first.
I know I have to do.
That's okay. That's not against the rules.
Okay. I have terrible handwriting.
That's okay. I have terrible vision, so this is gonna play out very well.
Well, then this is the right answer, Brad.
Jordan, are you ready?
No.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what you have here.
These guys have a coffee brand?
They have a coffee brand.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Am I showing the camera? Am I showing?
Yeah, you can show your camera's right there on the doohick. It is Green Day,
You didn't
When
know
I
it was
Come
Green Day,
Around.
but you knew
I
When I
forgot.
Come Around.
Should have known that.
I
What an
loved that
idiot.
song when it came out, man. I thought Green Day was the coolest ever.
They were so cool. That's so
They were
shameful.
so cool. All right. Next clue. Here we go. These guys were really cool,
yeah,
too.
that's embarrassing.
The song, but
What in the actual hell was that? Is that
Here it is one
Puma?
more time. Oh, by the way, I guess I should say that Green Day's coffee is called Oakland Coffee. If you have an interest.
where do you get that at?
Oh, I wonder where. Oakland Coffee available on greenday.com.
Oakland Coffee, that's it?
Oakland Coffee
that's-
Company. That's
Do you
the
think maybe
name.
you get it in Green Bay? Sorry.
That's actually pretty clever. I'm really proud of you.
Or Bowling Green?
Here's that.
Okay,
Here's
I think you should stop.
here's the clue again.
What's wrong with this? I'm so mad. I know the band right off the bat, but I don't know the song.
Listen, I know that there's 8 of you out there watching, at least on YouTube. So you better get out there and start guessing.
Oh, this
Help
is
these
gonna
guys out.
Bother me. I know that.
I
love watching the wheels working.
I know, dude. It's the funniest thing. You get the front row
I'm
seat to
digging
that.
deep.
You see the steam coming out of her ears. All right.
I have like 5 bands, I think it is. Or
All right. Dominic got it.
I mean, of course, Dominic got it.
He got it. What do you guys have here in the lounge?
Oh, I said this as the backup for Chad Kroger earlier.
Oh, you cheater.
Oh yeah, you did.
Let's
Damn
see.
it.
Let's see. What do you
I
guys
had
got?
no idea.
I mean, I
It is corn.
know it's corn, but I just couldn't remember the name of the song. It's not All Day I Dream About Sex. I'm trying to get Freak on a Leash. Damn it!
Freak on a Leash.
I'm so mad. It was like one of their
Yeah, huge.
Idiot.
Huge tune. Dude, corn was so cool. Their music was so innovative to me.
Yeah.
They
They essentially started new metal.
new metal. Yeah.
They
And,
don't like to take the ownership of that, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
They don't have to. We know. Any guesses on the
We know
name
what
of their
they did.
coffee?
Corn coffee.
It is corn coffee.
What? Hey, bonus
You
point.
get bonus
Spelled
points.
with a K, huh?
Spelled with a K.
Wow.
Coffee with a K. That's correct.
How unique.
And it comes in such just a plain Jane green bag. It's unbelievable. All right,
A lot
next.
of green here.
A lot of green.
Green in the coffee world.
Well, I mean,
green
coffee
corn.
is green originally. So.
Yeah. See?
See? Yeah.
Learning something new.
Hmm.
Here's the next clue. A little hint for you. This was wildly popular just recently on a very, very popular television show.
Spell the band name wrong, but whatever. I just recently had to learn how to play this. It made me realize that the drummer is just a bad drummer. He's just bad.
Listen, Lars Ulrich is I just gave it a god damn it.
That's why I said the drummer. Well, I mean,
I still don't even
I was
know.
like, he doesn't know. I mean, I literally, yeah.
Dominic.
Lars Ulrich and the
Dominic got it.
Lars Ulrich in the corn days.
Yeah, in the corn. In the green corn.
Kimberly said to Eddie.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Eddie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I would
What do you guys
I
have
would-
here?
Hey, you're watching. She's getting the.
I
What's going on
know.
over
She,
here?
she still
sucks so
has nothing on her board. It is Metallica, Master of Puppets.
That makes sense.
I can't stand Metallica.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not a big fan either.
I appreciate what they've done. I appreciate their catalog. I do enjoy some of their tunes. I enjoy
I've not
some
found
of.
a single song that I like.
I enjoy their music that isn't necessarily like metally. Like I enjoy like the Unforgiven and like these like almost like rock ballads.
What was the
that
one?
they do.
One? Is that one of their
No,
songs?
that's
What was
Creed.
what was the one?
Isn't it called
No,
One?
One. There's a
Yeah,
song One.
One.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
that's
in like
the,
Guitar Hero or something.
That's the
Oh.
one that has. It's like all open strings. Boo doo doo goo 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 goo.
Yeah.
oh gosh, who knows?
I like that one. I think
I
that's
may
it.
be wrong, honestly, but
Yeah,
I know
think
there's a
that
song
sounds
called
right.
One.
Yeah, I think you're on something there. Mhm.
Master.
They're all too like anxiety. I feel like they're very, very aggressive.
Any guesses on
It's
the name
metal.
of their coffee?
Metallica coffee.
It's not Metallica coffee.
Yeah, listen.
Lars.
Dominic said "Fade to Black" is a banger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what the coffee's called?
No.
Fade to black.
No. But their coffee is called Dark Matter Coffee. Dark Matter.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
All right. Next clue. We make coffee too.
Oh.
Here it is one more
Oh,
time.
you know this one?
I got this. Watch it be so wrong.
I have no
No
not
idea?
even any earthly clue.
All right. I'm sure somebody does. Jordan seems to be confident
Apparently,
for the first time tonight.
Can
Not-
only be wrong.
it's not Olivia Rodrigo.
Not Olivia Rodrigo.
Fuck that bitch.
Wow.
Whoa!
Well,
Thank God it's
Big
not
D.
Olivia Rodrigo.
I know, right? I'm sorry. I mean, she's lovely, but
God,
the radio
what did she
has
ever- what did she ever do to
destroyed
you?
her whole life for everyone.
Philip got the correct answer there. What do you guys have here in the lounge?
Oh, I was
Ricky's
correct.
got nothing. Let's see.
Well, I was gonna. I didn't know the name of the song.
It's not Livin' La Vida Loca, Jordan,
What the fuck?
but it is
Doesn't he say some stuff like that? He's like,
Love-
la-da-da-da-da-da.
Love in an Elevator.
Oh,
Not
okay, or that.
Livin' La Vida Loca.
You know, I like to make my own lyrics.
Oh yeah, Aerosmith. Another band I know.
Very.
My sister's boyfriend.
They're great. I mean, they're just they're the quintessential rock band. You know, like you know they fall off the wagon, but they don't fall so hard. You know, like they're all still together. It's I
By
like
duct
Aerosmith.
tape. for the
Yeah,
most part.
they're still pretty good live. They still are doing it to it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Good for them. Their coffee is called Rockin' and Roastin' Coffee.
That sounds like something they would make.
Mm-hmm.
That's
100%.
That's adorable.
Nerdy.
I think it's just the drummer that's put that out, but it is Rockin' and Roastin'.
Whatever
and,
his name is.
Whatever his name is. Not important. He's not Joe Perry.
Joe Perry.
Yeah.
Joe Perry, the guitar player.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to question myself for a second.
Well, because I was thinking, I was like, wait, is that this lead singer of
Yeah, Stephen Perry.
Steve Perry.
Steve
Yeah,
Perry
yeah.
is the lead singer or was
Yeah,
former
yeah.
lead singer. Everybody thinks he's dead. He's
He's
still
not.
still
No.
still
He just
alive.
He got replaced by a little Filipino
Yep,
guy.
still alive, still suing Journey for who knows what these days. Here we go. Final clue. Name that tune.
Just like the Pied Piper, let rest.
Here's that clue one more time.
Just like the Pied Piper, let rest.
I had completely forgot about this song in my entire life. Dominic put the point up what he said. I like that in the chats.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Best way to do that.
Not too shabby. Philip said no clue.
You did your coffee research, didn't you?
Remember we did a whole episode on celebrity coffees?
Oh, so you just
I
stole
just
all
pulled
of
back
it.
from my own file.
I wish I would have been listening then.
You were on the show, Jordan.
I know.
Nobody knows what this song is. I'll play it one more time.
Just like the Pied Piper, let rest.
Probably the biggest hit for this band ever.
Whoever the fuck they are.
Oh, mine's
Anybody?
very wrong then.
Anybody? Nothing.
Wait. I don't know. Hold on.
Jordan's continuing to write.
I'm very curious what she's writing.
I have two answers.
Okay.
I believe it's only accepting one.
We've lost
Top one, I
lost the rails here.
What's your answer?
I put Marilyn Manson or Kiss.
Is it Marilyn?
You're absolutely wrong.
It kind of sounded like Marilyn Manson at the end. That's why I
No,
kind of
no,
switched
no.
it up.
Is it?
Dominic said whole.
Is it
no,
I Hate
it's
You
not.
Too, Jordan by Olivia Rodrigo?
Oh, that's the correct answer. No,
That's what it would sound like.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's very angry.
It
Oh.
is Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth.
That was a good answer. I kind of wish
I couldn't name you a single Megadeth. That's Dave Mustaine, right?
Yep.
That's that is all I know about Megadeth is that it's Dave Mustaine, and he used to be in Metallica.
He used to be in Metallica.
What an epic name,
Dave
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philip said Beavis and Butthead. That could be true
Probably.
too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That one
Ellefson Coffee Co. I believe he's the guitarist or bass player for Megadeth.
Sure.
Or former. I think he just got fired.
Oh,
But he has a Ellefson Coffee Company.
UPS is hiring.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Pretty well done.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We got like collectively
Yeah,
2 point.
I think I
There's
got
a
more
few.
than you do.
5.
I don't know why you're lumping me in with you.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
that was bad.
Well, listen, the time's come around, or the time has come to go around the room and tell you about all the things that you should be looking out for in our Shameless Plugs. Hope you got your Shameless Plugs prepared, Ricky. We're going to go around the room and kick it off. Are you ready to shamelessly plug away?
Sure.
All right. Hit us.
Shameless plug. Live music community in North Palm Beach, run by Justin Hucker. Please go follow them on Instagram. Follow them on YouTube. Everything like that. Justin does an unbelievable job. He's got a bunch of incredible students, and he has created a bunch of teen bands that are nuts. They are so good.
There was a couple really good names too. I think Hector's Kid is in one of them, and like they made T-shirts and everything.
Well, there's one called Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that.
What is it? On October 27th, we're playing with a band called Euphoria. They're a teen band out of there. And November 5th, we're playing with a band called Skyarchy, which is a pretty dope name.
That's pretty good.
So we've been trying to add more of these teen bands onto our shows and stuff like that because these kids are so good. But Justin does an incredible job of cultivating their love for music and everything like that. And
live music community, the vibe that he has created there, and him and the team,
absolutely,
is just so welcoming and really nurturing for these kids because music can be tough, and really discouraging, and they just really do such a good job of keeping them going and putting them together and creating bands.
And he cares so much about these kids. And like when we were on the road, obviously he was away from them for 2 weeks and everything like that, and all that. Like he was still dealing with a lot of that stuff that, still dealing with the school and the kids and everything like that. And he's constantly talking to them and texting with them and everything like that and helping them get through some things. Like he's just awesome. And I wish that there was someone like him in our community when I was younger.
Sure.
If I had an opportunity to do the things that his kids are doing, I don't know where I would be today. I mean, like his kids have an incredible opportunity being a part of live music communities.
I'll tell you, man, I would much rather have been doing something like that when I was 16 years old, but but I celebrated my 16th birthday in a bar.
Yeah.
With a big sheet cake, the whole 9 yards. It was I don't know what the hell I was doing there. I wasn't allowed to put 16 on the cake, but there I was.
Well, you were
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
So, yeah.
I don't even know if I was drinking. I don't even know if I was. I think my parents were there. Who knows? That's the life I've lived in. Anyway, Carrie, live music community for sure.
Yep. That's my shameless plug.
That's it? Nothing else to plug?
That's it, man. I just want everybody to go to live music community and check them out.
Where are you playing next? What's the next show?
Where Shake has a show tomorrow at Tough Times Tavern in Pompano Beach. And then I'm off. I don't have a show. Oh, I'm playing at the Duck in Boca on Friday. Forgot about that.
Nice.
And then I got a wedding that I'm playing on Saturday.
Oh, we should all go there.
Yeah,
I heard the food is great.
It's at Renegades actually in Palm Beach.
Oh, classy.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a real what do they call that? Shit kicking something with country people. I don't know.
Yeah. You better give Woody a high five for me while you're there.
Yeah, it's I got invited to play drums in the in like the wedding band, and it's like a good friend of mine. And
Nice.
so it's gonna be fun. But at Renegades, it's gonna be a fucking party.
Yeah, for sure. Probably it'll be a fight.
Oh, let's hope not.
Yeah, I was playing a country bar one time, and a whole wedding party showed up, and it turned into a huge brawl on the dance floor, and it was hilarious.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was good.
Good juju for them, though. It's
Yeah.
like.
All right, Jordan. Any shameless plugs for you tonight?
I do have a shameless plug this
Oh,
week.
you told me that you were going to have one.
Yeah, I just came to me.
Is your new coffee coming?
Yeah, I'm launching
Fuck Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, don't listen to Olivia is the new coffee.
Called the Big C.
The big C. The big O. This weekend, where I work is going to be at the convention center in West Palm. So if we have any estheticians, cosmetologists, etc., we will be at the IECSC on Sunday and Monday. So come get your supplements, come see us, help us hit our goal.
What's the name of the place?
The IECSC.
No, the name of your place.
Oh, Hush and Hush.
Yeah,
so
that's important.
Yes. So come see. I guess that would be helpful.
Come blindly see this
Come
product
find
that.
Come,
I mean,
just
they
look
are
for me.
They are having a
Go to
treasure
downtown
hunt.
West Palm and start looking around.
Just anywhere. They're having a treasure hunt though. If you go to certain booths, you get little
okay, so
little
technically
prizes.
that's
Yeah, so it could be.
actually
Yeah,
what's
it's like a
happening.
little mystery, but I mean ours isn't one anyway. Yeah, so come see us at
We're uninvolved.
the Palm Beach Convention Center on Sunday and Monday all day. Not really sure what day or if all days I'll be there, but I'll be there. So
Nice.
yeah, come be beautiful from the inside out.
Yes, like me.
The secret of science.
The secret is science.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Hush and hush.
Oh, I had that one better in my head. but-
I have a few more than both of you, but
No, it went great out here too. Don't worry about it.
okay, good.
I'm just going to get through this as quickly as possible. You guys, once again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos. That would be awesome. We're working our way towards that coveted 1,000 subscribers. It's the thing we have to do there to get to the next step. So please subscribe, share it if you feel inclined to do so. We would love that. It's the single thing that you can do to help us in our journey. Thanks to our sponsors and partners at Code Rum, Hop Life Brewing at the Sneaky Tiki in downtown Stewart, and Paul from the Drums and Rums podcast. We love you and hope to get you back soon after the hurricane shit's all done. But please support those who support us and support local whenever you can. Check out JNC Radio. You can listen to the radio station on our website, jncpodcast.com, or you can get the free Live 365 radio app wherever you get your apps. Just open the app and search for JNC Radio to enjoy great music all day, including local Florida tunes, including The Shake. And listen to our live morning show each weekday morning with me and sometimes guests like her. And you can listen to this show each Wednesday evening. It's free and there's nothing to sign up for. You just download the app and you're done. So give it a listen if you like. Join me for coffee, speaking of, each weekday morning at 8 a.m. for the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. I've been drinking it tonight. Can you tell? We talk about news, current events, and other fun and interesting topics. So wake up with me, just not next to me, because Jordan might get mad. Tomorrow night, I'll be performing my one-man band show at Manatee Island in Fort Pierce at 5:30 p.m., and that's always a good time. The weather's supposed to be good, so that's great. We've got some great upcoming live episodes of the JNC podcast. Next week, we're joined by the great Mike LeBeck to talk about his music and upcoming performances. And also coming up on the 26th of this month is the 3rd annual JNC Halloween special. Whoa. Where's the button? Come on, Brad. Whoa. Oh, it's kind of... Anyway, there's supposed to be some reverb there.
Wow.
This is going well.
Use your imagination, folks.
JNC Halloween special featuring Bloody Marys. Whoa. Okay. There we go. You're not going to want to miss that. Seriously, it's going to be awesome.
The charm on that one.
Yeah.
It's going as well as my shameless plug now.
Oh, turn off all the lights and join us for a spooky evening on October 26th. And that is my shameless plug. All right, you guys, we're winding down here. I hope you all enjoyed our show. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. Give it up once again for the amazing Ricky Bolufe.
You're obsessed with saying the last name now.
I am. No, I got it.
Thanks for coming. You're a hoot.
Well, be sure to check him out and catch him around town, you guys. And my partner in crime, of course, is Jordan Taylor, holding down the fort tonight.
Greatest plugging thing.
Big deal.
Excellent plugger.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh.
All right.
Too much. Sorry. Too far.
You guys, we'll see you next week with Mike Lebec. Until then, drink your coffee strong and be kind to one another. Broadcasting live from the legendary JNC Lounge, I'm Brad Brock. We love you. Good night.
I'm amazed. I live this long in a life.